Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of VetsPlusSports.com. This is your host, Terrell Cool Beans Davis, along with my co-host, Mr. James Miller.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing tonight? It is draft night. We get ready to kick off. We'll see who goes number one. We pretty know who is, pretty
Yep.
much. Cam Ward, most likely, but we'll let Beans do a shout out if he wants to, real fast.
Yes, we'd like to give a shout out to those that stopped by to watch the live and those that will come back to watch the replay. Thank you for giving us your undivided attention. And for those that do the radio show, we didn't do a radio one this week, but we have our radio show listeners. We got cities like Grinzek, Germany, Brussels, Belgium, Ashburn, Virginia, Boardman, Oregon, San Jose, California, LA, California. Thank y'all for listening.
Just thank everybody for listening and tuning in. Um, I'm trying to get stuff popped up on my TV here, and it is not working. Technical difficulties once again.
I hear you. I had to put mine on the radio because I found out I thought I was going to be able to get it, but it's like you have to have Hulu plus live sports to broadcast. I was like, oh well, I got Hulu, but I don't have the live sports, so it's on ABC. And since I just do nothing but the apps, I'm listening to it on my XM radio app, Sirius XM radio app.
Let's see. I may have mine going if I can get to it.
Cool beans. But I was listening to I pulled up a lot of podcasters and listened up to their shows today. A lot of people believe there's going to be some trades, some great trades. Generally, they think Atlanta will deal Kirk Cousins to get because Atlanta only has 5 drafts this. They only have 5 picks this draft, and Minnesota has less than them. Minnesota only has 4 drafts this 4 picks this draft.
Well, I know they were talking about also the Browns and the Giants doing a trade.
Yeah,
I think the Browns would be stupid. I mean, and the thing is, it's not that the Browns and the Giants are trading each other to flip flop, trading to go back.
yeah, both of them. They're talking about both of them doing it. Here's my thing: have you known the Giants organization or the Cleveland organization do anything smart?
Negative.
So they're probably trading back.
So um, we'll see what happens with the Browns. There's a lot of speculation they're going to go with Hunter um, at that number 2 spot. But here's my thing. I ain't saying Hunter's an athlete. He plays both ways. I would go quarterback. I would get Sanders. Let him sit underneath Flacco.
Oh,
Um,
this one dude I listened today, they said Sanders is going to be. He was talking about some Sanders don't have an arm, and they think that Sanders will fall back to 21 to where the Steelers can get him.
nah, I don't see that happening.
Now, I don't see that either.
I don't see him falling. If he's going to fall, he ain't going to fall past 10.
But that's not all the craziness they said. They said he'll fall back to 21 and the Steelers will get him, and he'll sit a year under Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with him.
Is he signed yet?
Nope.
Nah. So I don't see him signing. Um, I don't. He is wanting a big party, a big paycheck again.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. And, and here it is.
You got it to come up?
I got it on. But it's a second. It's a few seconds behind.
Cool beans.
So
They're in. I was gonna say they're in Roku. They're in Greenbay.
when did they go to a 10 minutes clock?
I didn't think they were supposed to be on. I thought it was 3 minute clock.
Well, it's showing right now 10 minutes. But it
Maybe
ain't.
because it's 10 minutes before they start, and between each pick it's gonna be 3 minutes.
Well, that clock ain't even moving. It's just sitting there at 10.
Oh dang!
Um, I don't know. Really, man, they're riding bikes out. I mean, this is like
Let's hear from some of your Packer greats. Please welcome.
Let me do this so you can see a little bit of what's going on. If it don't mess up when I try to do this.
Right. There you go. We got it. We see it.
You got it right there?
Yeah.
I'll do this right here. All right, there we go. I know we got a little bit of a glare, but we'll see what happens.
And Packer superfan Lil Wayne.
That man's accustomed to the booze. He gets them every year.
It don't seem like it's off. Or I'm not hearing my phone. I'm hearing your TV because,
Well, you're listening to the radio, ain't you?
yeah.
The President Donald Trump. He asked me to pass a message along to all 32 NFL franchises. So let me tell you what it reads here, all right?
But we have over 125,000 people here and still counting. Green Bay may be small, but it's mighty. Thank you all for welcoming us here tonight.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about right. But it was funny. He said the Bears still suck.
Well, see, here's the thing. See, what just played there, I'm behind.
Yeah, because at first it looked like it was him saying,
The show started. Are you ready? The 2025 NFL Draft is now officially open. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
See, there. Yeah, this is delayed right now.
News and Roger Goodell, you got 10 minutes in the first round.
wow, it is 10 minutes.
10 minutes. By the way, the Packers have announced that the NFL Draft entry is temporarily paused because the event is at maximum capacity. Not quite the size of what we had last year in Detroit, but certainly a very different venue. Titans on the clock. The draft is underway. We'll find out what
Yeah, because they say they're only supposed to have 117,000 in there, and they currently have 125,000.
We're hiring to help manufacture America's
Where they
That's
at?
tech sector.
They're in Green Bay. But I love how they just said that over the air. We're only supposed to have 117, but we got 125 in there. You're way over capacity. Fire must say, "Ooh, I should go write tickets."
You can have it all. Apply now at usa.siemens.com/usjobs. That's usa.com/usjobs.
Let me tell you what it reads here, all right?
means getting the right balance of power and performance.
It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck.
That's funny.
I know.
Hey, well, like I said, I'm behind a few minutes, seconds, or whatever.
Hi, I'm Joe Perillo with Joe
Right. I don't know why they didn't vet what he was going to say. I know it's live TV, but they should have. What you gonna say first before we let you go out there? Oh, that's what you gonna say. Go ahead.
Well, his colleagues even knew he's going to say that. They were sitting there. They already knew.
I'd also like to tell you about Perillo Collision. The Perillo Collision staff are trained and insured to repair Bentleys, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghinis, or any other
Now here's the thing, because we have 5 minute memory. I will be waiting to see if
vehicle's warranty.
Chicago next year drop both games to Green Bay, or will they beat Green Bay?
That's
They're going to lose to Green Bay.
I think so too. But they talking about getting their what's his name? Jenny?
Yeah, Jenny.
Yeah, Ashton Jenny.
What pick they got again? Let's see. Let's see here. What got
Chicago's at 10.
at 10? You think Jenny will make it that far?
Well, that's what they going for, and they like he might not last that long. Dallas is at 12, and they're trying to get some Omarion Hampton, a wide receiver, which I hope that they really are not going that way. Knowing they need people on defense, knowing they need a line, knowing they need a running back, you're gonna go wide receiver.
Can they get an owner in there somewhere?
Yeah, that's at the 12th pick. We draft Robert Kraft, formerly of the New England Patriots.
And then hire Bill Belichick,
I know,
head
right?
coach.
Expectation that it is going to be Cam Ward. Now the card is not in yet. They have not passed.
They are on the clock, but
Not made that pick, but if in fact it
I
is
can't believe.
you played in this league for a dozen
Oh, so they already made the pick, or is that's what they
No,
still guessing?
no, they're still guessing. I still can't believe, man. It's 10 minutes.
I know.
Remember, it used to be what 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
I thought it was
Three?
3.
Now the other rounds go. The other rounds is not as long.
I know.
The
Wait
first
till they
round
get
was
round 7. All right, you're up. You got 15 seconds.
You sure already know who you're getting. If you don't by now, yeah, you just might as well forget it.
There's enough there where I think he can make some movement plays and play with it
Hey, did you see this?
from the neck up. Let's face it, you look at
That Jennings, that running back,
Uh-huh.
he was wearing Crocs today. I gotta show my wife this because she's on me on me all the time for wearing Crocs. And he's got socks on. My wife gets on me all the time.
Socks and Crocs.
That's right.
is the highest rate, Rick Neuheisel, of plays by an NFL quarterback in those three bad categories.
Well, let's see here.
I call it a panic reflex.
So far, no Browns and no Giants is showing no movement.
Saying it, but there's a reflex
that
happens when you're under duress that require that I've got to get rid of.
I'm just curious to see where the Browns go.
And it happens so quickly.
Right. I think the Browns will not waste their pick.
Turnovers.
I think the Giants will trade theirs.
Quarterbacks and
Um,
can never break free of that is
they don't have a quarterback.
Cam Ward has
I know, and like I said, I've been listening to them shows all day today for mock draft shows. They say if the Giants drafted number 3, I forgot what his name was. He's not even what you call it. He's not even going to be a quarterback. They're going to draft a defensive end.
something that as a trade
That's smart.
have to covet.
Yeah,
Great athletes in the NFL.
I mean, and see, here's my thing with the Browns.
Used about 5.5
Why would you? Like I said, I ain't taking nothing away from Hunter. All right, you're going to go with the defensive player, and you had the best secondary 2 years ago, and you traded them all off. So why are you going to draft a player that you're going to trade off in 2 years?
Yeah, I don't, watch it. You know they got a quarter. One of their quarterback, Greg Newsom, for Cleveland. They think not only will they trade back, they think they'll trade him. They're going to deal him.
So I mean, and the Browns,
Especially if they draft Travis Hunter, they probably will deal him.
yeah, they'll keep him 2 years and they'll deal him. Browns do stupid stuff. A little more than the Dallas has been doing the last few years. But I mean, at least Dallas does have a quarterback.
Yeah, for now until they trade him off. Or
I mean, the Browns don't. I mean, they've got
Second-round pick, but he was their pick to
Flacco.
be their quarterback, and they put him on.
He
the
may
phone
get him a
deal
wild card,
right
maybe.
away,
I don't
and he
know. That's a
wasn't good
tough
enough.
division he's in.
And it's unfortunate that he's being judged that quickly, but that's the world we're in today. He'll go somewhere else. Look at all those guys from 2 or 3 years ago have all moved on. Almost the whole draft class.
So
1 or 2 will pull a Baker Mayfield.
Now here comes the pick officially.
Cam
oh,
Ward's
here
in.
it comes.
Cam Ward's in. It's already in.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select
Cam Ward.
Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
So no surprise with pick number 1. It
There he
Yep.
is.
Pick one went exactly like expected.
season Hurricanes record
All right.
ACC player.
If I'm gonna say this now, if the Browns are smart, which the Browns ain't smart,
Miller, as you were just
they would
talking
go ahead and
about,
draft
incarnate
Sanders the
word,
second pick.
2 years at Washington State and then to Miami. Yes, the NIL
Second pick.
aspect of it, but he was
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
All right, say they don't draft him. What if he turns out like another Lamar Jackson? Lamar, I mean, he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He puts up stats, which I think he will have more passing yards than Lamar does. He won't run as much as Lamar. because Lamar Bell's out pretty quick. He relies on his legs a lot. That's where he went. Cam Ward went to the Titans. Titans said they was taking him the whole time, and that's what they did.
Yep, they did. Which that means they're going to trade off Will Levis, because that was one of the things they were predicting that they will trade Will Levis. But you don't have much trade capital, I don't think, with Will Levis.
No. Why don't you keep him as a backup?
Yeah, that'd be a smart thing, because I don't think you'll get anything for him.
Here's my thing. Start Will, because this is not a playoff contending team. Start Levias for 4 or 5 games. Let Cam sit underneath him for them a few games, and then put him in.
Yeah, that would be smart.
I mean, because I'm like you. Nobody's going to be out jumping. Ooh, we got to have him.
The Browns did trade it. Browns traded Jacksonville from number 5.
God.
Wonder the question about just how many trades and just how early. Rick, you and I did
Oh
the
my
hour before
goodness.
tonight.
I told you.
It is Cleveland at 2, making the
Cleveland,
first
you
round
are
trade of the night.
stupid.
Cleveland will drop back to 5.
But you know what I think they're doing? They think they're going to draft Sanders at number 5
It would be Hunter. That'd be my guess.
because
People have admired him for the multi-talented thing. We've gone over why it's impossible.
so
That's probably why. If Jacksonville draft Travis Hunter, they're going to use him as a receiver.
On both sides of the ball, for sure. Coach Cowher said, I teach him one of them.
if I was him, I wouldn't want to go to Jack. Well, he's from Florida,
Situational play on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
That's what I would
so
do.
he's from Florida. He's probably pulling for that. I wouldn't want to go there. I'd go to New England before I go to Jacksonville.
That offense was clicking. What do you think, Jim? What do you think they're going for here?
I can't argue if it's either Hunter, because they're last in the league in turnovers. Jacksonville was. They're 28th in the league in sacks, which I don't understand. They moved on from Mike Caldwell as their defensive coordinator. They got worse defensively. I mean,
So now,
told us where was Josh
who's the
Allen
Giants going to
before
trade
he
with?
had 17
Yeah, I know.
He was
The
nowhere
Raiders?
to be found last year. So to me, it could be either of the 3.
Probably so. I gotta look at that list. I forgot what number the Raiders are.
They're at 6. I got it brought up right now.
Let's also go to the makings of
Mike
the trade.
Carter is an idea.
Let's go to the makings of this too. We'll find
You know-
out who they're making. They have not made the selection yet. The first aspect of this is you have to execute the
So,
trade. I'll get the
and here's my
details here in a
thing.
moment.
I don't
have them in front
understand
of me.
Jacksonville.
But it's a first-year general
Jacksonville's
manager,
got
right?
talent.
James Gladstone from the
Jacksonville's
Rams
loaded with talent.
perspective, right?
Yeah.
They have been for the last couple of years, but they just can't.
Trades comes from
can't
that
win.
realm, and he moves up.
They
Which,
bring
by the
in
way, is
receivers
including a
that
first
are
rounder
good
next year.
receivers,
So the
and then they're
Jaguars
gone
have given
after
up
a
their
year.
first rounder next year. Some other details too.
I mean,
I don't have their faith in their quarterback.
Presumably second best player.
Trevor Lawrence, remember, he's a former number 1 pick.
Yeah,
I don't think he should have been the number 1 pick.
Well,
he had a strong arm,
you know, if you look at elite positions, quarterback, pass
but
rusher, left
I mean,
tackle,
he don't have no
cover
wheels
corner.
at all.
Okay, the two names
Yeah.
we're bantering about here.
So,
One's a cover corner, one's a pass rusher. Which one do they need the most? Which one do they feel like they had to go to 2 to get the guy they want? They couldn't wait for 3 because
All
they
right,
might have
you
lost
know-
him at 2. So
Jacksonville's not going quarterback. You know the Patriots ain't going quarterback.
I've been thinking the New England
The
Yep.
Giants need a quarterback.
Yeah, I did too. That's the one that I predicted.
We are a quarter of the way to 4, which is what Rick Neuheim
Well,
thought tonight.
since the Browns traded back to 5, they'll take Sanders at 5.
Right. Hey, it's possible.
I mean, if the Giants don't pick Sanders up.
Right. And while we on, let's go ahead and acknowledge we got 13 people just tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in and giving us y'all undivided attention.
Yes, thank y'all. Thank y'all for watching and tuning in and watching this unfold as we do.
Essentially, the Jaguars are giving up a second-round pick this
Ah,
year and a first-round
Let's
pick
see what
for
happens
next
here with
year.
Jacksonville.
You have 3 spots here to give to Cleveland.
Man, I think that's a gamble for
It's not a normal
Cleveland
3 spots.
because Cleveland, the
We're
two
at the
two
top
people
of the
they were
draft.
looking
We're
at was either
close to
Sanders or
one
Hunter,
spot,
and
2
you
spots.
drop them
If
back
you're
to
down
5.
below,
There's a possibility you
see
could
that
lose
it's
both of them.
watered down, but
Yeah.
as I said, if you believe there's only 4 or 5 guys that are Pro Bowl
But
players,
it's like I said,
and 2 or 3
Jacksonville's not
gold
going
jackets,
quarterback.
used to the
Patriots
gold
ain't going
jacket,
quarterback.
it's worth doing it.
If there's anybody else, it's going to be New York.
Who's been the Rams?
Unless New
Hey,
York,
there's a good chance. Remember we started with, there's a good chance them boneheads ain't going quarterback either. They might trade back to something.
It's a
They may trade back to another team that's needing a quarterback, and then there goes Sanders.
That's what I would think. Well, we're going to know soon enough.
But let's see what happens.
Okay, the pick is
officially on the clock as well.
And wait, well, we'll talk about this after, but what does it do to the Giants here if it turned out to be Carter? They'll just take the other kid
Yeah.
and be happy with it. And I still think that Patriots spot you guys have already talked about it on your other show, but to me, you want to get ahead of somebody.
dang. I hate that they're so behind because they talking about the pick is in, but they won't tell us who the damn pick is.
Yeah.
Makes people behind them start making a lot more moves as well.
So I'll answer part of that. Like once you see a compensation package.
Well, a minute ago, I'll tell you this. It popped up on the computer before they even announced it. Well, this time it didn't.
Someone who was very high up in this.
Yeah,
They got calls all day, but no one was offering anything good enough to move. This is good enough to move. Yeah.
I had got earlier. NBC had text me when the Cad Moore one it popped up. I guess they ain't interested in the second pick. Right? We're done for today. We know who the one first pick is.
Let's go to the podium.
Which we knew that for months.
Tonight,
All right, here they finna announce it.
32 young men entering the NFL. I'm honored to take a moment to recognize a player who's made a profound impact on and off the field. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes one player each year who best represents greatness and compassion both on and off the field and in the community. Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
First off, Duval.
He said that better than Liam Cohen when he was introduced.
I want to say thank you to the commissioner, thank you to the Payton family and the NFL and Nationwide, and also tonight I want to encourage each player embarking on the NFL journey to identify a passion close to their heart and act upon it. Use your platform to make your community, the league, and this world a better place. As we remember, Walter Payton, strive to leave a positive legacy of your own. Thank you.
Man.
We have a trade.
Don't tell me Jacksonville traded.
Cleveland Browns have traded the second pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We knew that.
That's behind
With
too.
the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
Hunter going to the Jaguar.
Eric Armstead, former first-round pick himself, making the announcement. The Heisman Trophy winner. The Jaguars
Well,
traded up to take him, and he is heading
there he
to the
is.
Jaguars to work with Trevor Lawrence.
So who's the Giants? Giants is going to go defense, right?
Jim, so
Yeah, that's what this one guy was talking about on his blog show.
they went up and they got him. And it's also
I
interesting.
mean, they really don't.
Talking about this, he was
Who's their running back?
as what he wants to be, Jim Miller, which is wide receiver. And
That's a good question. I don't know who the Giants running back is.
Time, as Pat mentioned, maybe he will be utilized on the offensive side of the ball, but I think you're drafting him to be a
Well,
defensive
let me ask you
Like
this.
said, Jacksonville, they were
You
last
think
in
it'd be a
turnovers
big
last
shock
year. It's one of
if
the
they
big
come and draft
statistics in
Sanders?
deciding wins and losses. They need to create more turnovers defensively.
No,
As a corner, he's 6 foot.
because they got both their quarterbacks. They both aging. Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson.
Then maybe in time you do move them over. Like what
It would be smart to get for them to get
he
a.
was on some trick plays on offense because he made a ton of plays for Shador Sanders. But I'm not going to.
But that means they'd have to get rid of one.
As Pat mentioned, I don't know if you can
You
do
get
that,
rid of
because the
Jameis
attention
Winston,
to
who just
detail
got there.
every single day, how much time he would have to dedicate to both offense and defense.
He just
I
gets
don't
done,
think that's how you
gets
want to
done
start a
unpacking his
role.
bag. Oh, you got to pack up and leave
on
again.
Wednesdays
Yeah.
and both sides of the ball meet at the same time. So he's only going to be in one meeting.
Yeah.
They start up the conversation. Remember when I told you not to unpack everything?
Sacks and everything else is 50. That's 100 pass plays. He's going to run 50 routes and then cover 50 routes?
He did it in college, and by the way that this
Yeah, he did it in college, but he ain't gonna be able to do it in the pros.
What's that?
Talking about something here. He ran 25 pass plays, and you're on the other side and defend 25 pass plays.
No.
I was like, you did it in college, but you ain't gonna do it in the pros.
The thing is, NFL, even your number one receiver ain't on every single down. You know, on offense, he even goes out and gets a break. If you look at Tariq Hill, you look at Travis Kelsey, you look at all your receivers, they go out for a couple plays.
Yeah.
So I can see him playing both ways because he's not going to be in on every play on offense.
Next year's draft.
Let's think about what Cleveland gave up. They gave up this kid. They gave
So-
up Abdul Carter, right? So where are they headed?
Is a pick
For them
in?
to
Is
go
a pick
down
in?
there and take themselves out of the mix of those two kids.
Yeah, that's the dude they think they're going for.
Who's that?
Penn State, Abdul Carter.
If you think about what does Cleveland need aside from a
Oh, that big dude.
Yeah, that's who they talking about the Giants was gonna get.
Ever get back to what he was, and he certainly hasn't shown the ability to get back to
That'd be
What do the
smart.
Browns need?
Would
There's
they take
certainly
Shador?
a need of a tackle. There's certainly some need opposite of Myles Garrett, right? And
That dude is huge.
true and fair. They are in the
If he's the same one I'm thinking of, did he kick the ball
Let's
too?
not kid ourselves and say that the
I don't know. I don't know what he did. He's at Penn State, but
And Nick, you know,
and Nick Chubb is
outside linebacker. Because they
That guy kicked the ball was up front. He was a front guy on defense.
And so,
A
to
big
your
dude. He
point,
was like
Pat, is
6'6",
what are they giving
6'8".
up? But if possible, Jim Miller, maybe what they're thinking is like, okay, we know that, but maybe Ashton Genty or an offensive lineman is what they actually coveted. And
But-
in the process, they got a second-round pick and a first-rounder next year.
Yeah, I think Cleveland right now, if you were to look at them,
Now, who's, uh,
you know, between
who's,
Baltimore
New
and
England going for?
Cincinnati, the way Cincinnati finished the year, and I think Pittsburgh's still going to be Pittsburgh. You're gonna see
let me
Cleveland
see.
at the bottom. They've got more-
While the Giants is on the clock, let's see what New England would be doing.
One of them, but all the areas that you just dictated, and now their run game to boot. I think it's all on the table for them. They need to acquire a lot of assets to make themselves relevant again in the AFC North.
To finish up Travis Hunter, he is the first player in a 135-year history of Walter Camp Awards to be named first team on both offense and defense. The Heisman Trophy winner is the first Colorado player, Rick, since you were watching Michael Westbrook, to go in the top 5 since Washington took him number 4 30 years ago. And he played over 1,500 snaps in college this year, 750 on offense, 760 on defense. No argument.
Can't find anything that they saying other than they got the 4th draft spot. I'm trying to see what they picked on them in the mock draft, and I don't see anything.
Followed Coach Sanders to Colorado, and it has been a remarkable journey. It'll be interesting what Dion's involvement now in the negotiation to sign with that. And we look forward to Travis Hunter when he joins us here. Cam Ward is here as well. Both those guys taken 1 and 2 will join us on set a little bit later. The Giants have made their pick as we focus.
Giants made their pick, so we can see.
First 2 off the board. Is it definitely Abdul Carter? Would you be shocked if it's someone else?
I think it should be him, but they also have 2 good
Here we go. We're getting ready to find out. I think it's going to be the defensive player. That's just me. Yep, there it is.
But I'd be hard pressed to pass that guy.
And Brian Burns, who they traded for last year. Here's Roger.
There he is. It's Carter.
2025 NFL Draft. The New York Giants select Abdul Carter,
Yep, they went Abdul Carter.
Penn State.
So it is, in fact, 1, 2, and 3 in the order that most people thought it would go 1, 2, and 3 over the course of this last week. Cam Ward,
Yep, just the way I was talking about us. Like, well, all these people predicted, even though we said, Cleveland, you need a quarterback. Giants, you need a quarterback. They would not go a quarterback. Well, we can't knock Cleveland yet. Cleveland is still, they just went to number 5.
Well, my thing is, where they went to number 5, they knew that they could get Sanders at number 5. I don't know what that costs as far as money-wise on the draft. But by them doing that, to me, I think they're drafting Sanders.
Right. But see, they still going to get the guy they want. And they probably got an extra draft pick. Not only did they go back to number 5, they probably gave up 2 picks to get to number 2.
Oh yeah, if I was holding that number 2 pick, I'm like, all right, you're giving me 2 picks this year, not down the road.
Yep.
You're giving me 2 picks this year, and I heard them talk about what they received a minute ago, and I know I think they got one in the second round this year that I know of. It may be another one next year.
Going to test him out, see if
Um,
he can hold up against the run. But as for flat out pass rush, he's got it.
Well, and as for a defensive front for the New York Giants, again, there's a lot of concern with their offenses. They've added Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
so we'll
trying to help the league neighbors develop that offense. But from a front pack, when
see
you
what
put
happens
Dexter
here.
Lawrence with Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau and Abdul Carter,
I mean,
that is a lot
Patriots
of
need a lot too.
Someone's got
And Adam Schiff from ESPN think they're gonna trade Kevon Thibodeau. And it's like, especially if they went Abdul Carter, they say Thibodeau is gone. They're gonna deal him.
you make him the Sam linebacker, you blitz him a lot, you run a real stunt game with him. But I'm not leaving one of those three guys on the side. No. And none of them can play tackle.
Yep, this will be the Steve Spagnuolo NASCAR package
Thank
he
you.
used to run for the Giants.
The top 3 picks are in, and now we'll see. The expectation has been 1, 2, and 3 to go the way that it did. What happens next?
What
Patriots
was
are on the clock. They're 5 minutes to go to make their selection.
what was
We're
number 4?
trading,
What are they
and it
predicting
is
on number 4?
Cleveland and Las
I was looking online and Google don't have it. They cannot pick. They just say if the Patriots at number 4, but
Honey, I had the worst.
on the mock draft they don't have anybody that.
And the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
Oh, that's awful, huh?
You know, my brother was saying he got life
And I was like thinking, I was like,
Isn't getting life insurance a huge
I didn't know what the Patriots. I was like, because they don't need a quarterback.
doctor? I wouldn't even know where to start.
So Sanders is still safe. So Cleveland still will have him at 5 unless they do something stupid and deal away the 5th pick too.
all online. No medical exam.
I'm trying to see what I got here, but my computer's acting up.
That worked for his needs, and Ethos made the whole thing so easy and clear.
10 minutes with no medical exam? Ethos, here we come.
Here's to sleeping better at night.
Help protect your loved ones today with Ethos. Life insurance made easy. Visit ethos.com/fan to apply today. That's ethos.com/fan.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy,
Nah,
non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
it's not.
Hey, weekend warriors, how's a little trail therapy sound right now? Hop in.
What am
Let's
I?
go for a ride in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Tune out all those work emails. Turn up that twin-turbo V6 engine.
Yeah, I can't find anything who they.
Show them some epic inclines. Turn your 8-person family dinner into an exhilarating off-road adventure. The all-new Nissan Armada is here. Intelligent 4-wheel drive can
Yeah, I'm trying to get this.
traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Live from Green Bay, this is the 2025 NFL Draft. Here's Pat Kerwin, Rick Neuheisel, Jim Miller, and Jason Horowitz.
There is a lot of intrigue into the night, certainly about the quarterbacks and Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, and Jalen Milroe. Maybe
Still waiting on New England right now.
Yep.
They're trying to find another Tom Brady in this draft.
Sitting in their respective placements, and we had a trade on the second pick. The Jaguars moved up from 5 to 2 to take Travis Hunter from Colorado after the Titans took Cam Ward. And then the Giants followed that up with Abdul Carter out of Penn State. The Patriots have made their selection, and the Browns are now on the clock at 5. We'll find out what they are doing, if they are staying put and going at 5. We are also expecting Cam Ward to join us here momentarily. He, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, who have all been...
Well, I'll say this: if the Browns trade down again, okay,
Right.
they're not looking to win this year.
Yeah, they definitely ain't. Now here's the thing: they still need a running back.
They got Jerome Ford. I don't know.
He was a bust last year.
And you think they'll go Jenny at 5?
If he's he'll still be available unless the Patriots got it, because I don't even know who the Patriots running back is.
I'd say Patriots. Patriots would get a. They may take Jenny. Because
Yeah.
they got receivers. They got a quarterback.
Yeah.
So we'll find out here in a second. what's going in. The pick is in.
Gone against some of the best talent in college football. The guy's kind of nasty. I like his attitude. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's the left tackle or maybe it's McMillan, the wide receiver. I think you can always give your young quarterback big help with a big target like McMillan.
Pat Kerwin, I come to you on this because the Patriots made so many changes here in the
You know that
offseason from a
McMillan,
personnel standpoint.
they blew him up in college.
Signed Stephon
I wasn't
Diggs.
really impressed with him.
They brought 8 starters in.
That's one of the guys. I forgot all about him.
Offensive line as well from the Jets, but you go to the
Oh, where do they think he was going?
Well, they're just now talking about the Patriots. I heard them mention it on your thing. They're talking about the Patriots.
He was a linebacker.
guy, yeah.
So
He got his way.
But this is a team
We'll
in that
see,
division, and everyone's chasing Buffalo. Patriots off a 4-13 year. If you can
what
assume
happens.
that Drake May takes a step from year 1 to 2,
I don't know what happened on my
might this
phone.
franchise look this
Well, I've said it on the air. I'll say it again. They're going to pass
I mean,
the
not my
Miami
phone, but my
Dolphins this
TV.
year in the standings. That head coach, the way he coaches, and the kind of guys he put on that defense.
Which means he's going to be recruiting a personality as much as he's going to recruit the skill set here, right?
There's going to be a bad boy attitude
Yeah,
there.
there's going to be a toughness, a grit to this pick.
Which gets to the
going to
point,
fit well in the locker room.
which gets to what we talked about earlier in the day about how you feel, Rick Neisel, about Will Campbell and what you saw at LSU this year.
I was just watching a little vignette, a highlight that was him in the tunnel prior to coming out and amped up and looking like he was ready for the battle. And I know that he started as a true freshman in the SEC at left tackle, where you're going to be playing some of the premier pass rushers in the collegiate level, and he held up. He held up. There is a question about his arm length, but based on the personality, the grit, knowing what we know about the head coach who's, was part of that Patriot franchise when it was in its heyday, it's a fit.
Man, they take forever to.
Better athlete, and they've got him ranked higher.
My TV at Roku done a update.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
This guy's never done anything but left tackle.
What in the world?
Mizzou only played right tackle. Let's go to the podium.
Ah.
Roger Goodell.
With the
You
fourth
ready?
pick in the
Yep.
2025
Offensive tackle.
NFL draft,
William Campbell.
the New England Patriots select Will Campbell, tackle, LSU.
So no surprises so far in terms
So
of names.
now Cleveland's got a choice:
Changed so far
Sanders
in terms of where they're going is
or Jenny.
Yeah.
I tell you who the Raiders are going. If he's there, they're going Jenny. Because the Raiders got a
Yeah, because they said the Raiders was going to go running back because they got Geno Smith.
He's still got a couple years left in him.
Yeah, they got last year that number 1 tight end, that rookie. He's still there, so you got somebody to pass to.
Yep.
Now they did have one of their receivers, Renfro.
Yeah.
He retired.
But he had one good year, and that was about it.
By the way, the Browns pick is also in, so if there was speculation,
Sanders.
certainly has been
Let's see. Let's see.
We're not just trading from 2 to 5, but also thinking about trading back again.
Think about trading back
No,
again.
the pick's in. I thought he said.
And
Yeah, they said, but they was also trying to trade back again.
the Patriots and the 50+ sacks they allowed.
Well,
last
they
year
got Sanders.
coming in, and you talked about at LSU. If
Let's see
you
what
handle
happens.
That, you're handling essentially NFL talent when you're going right to play for the Patriots.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. This guy stood in there, and I mean, obviously there were some defeats. He took his lumps, but to come back from it and continue to progress as an athlete, that tells you everything you want to know about the personality. In this conversation, there's no question that Vrabel was on the phone or in a meeting with this guy, and as soon as that meeting was over, I guarantee he either winked or shook hands with whoever was going to make the decision and said, that's our guy. And they finally completed their 5 now. They lose
All
David
right.
Andrews. They
Come
went
on
out,
now.
They signed Garrett Bradbury from the Minnesota Vikings. They bring in Morgan Moses to play right tackle. Onwenu is a very good right guard. I think he's underrated.
Gerard,
How he
is
plays.
Sanders there at
Now with
the
left guard,
draft?
They drafted Cole Strange a few years ago.
I don't know if Sanders. They already said Hunter was not going to be there.
There's 5 legit starters there. Moses is up there in age, but he can still play. He was starting last year. So It should be good for New England. I'm with Pat. They've surpassed Miami. They have been active this offseason in free agency, and they'll attack this draft.
Well, and obviously the Jets are working their way to figure out what they're going to be now with Justin Fields, and they've got a lot of work to do, and we'll get to them here when they're scheduled to pick number 7. The Raiders are on the clock. The Browns pick is in. And if you're just joining us, the Browns, who were sitting at 2, and so many had picked them to take Travis Hunter, traded back to 5. They picked up a second-round pick this year and also added a first-round pick next year from Jacksonville.
There you go.
Team some swaps, some
You
other
heard that?
picks along
Uh-huh.
the way. There was a fourth-round swap.
First-round pick next year, second-round this
They were
year.
getting a second and a first to move back 3 spots, and here they are. All right, Kevin Stefanski is going into year number 6. They are coming off a 3-14 season. They paid Myles Garrett, Pat. They gave him all the money. The defense, though, last year, there certainly was some struggle, but the offense is the concern. And you got to be thinking, with the worst offense in the NFL, that this has to be an offensive pick.
When they were good, Chubb was playing great.
2 years ago.
And there is no Chubb. It's Genty time for me.
It's Genty time.
No.
They're 29th in the league. 29th in the league.
No,
rushing the
no,
ball. Yeah,
no.
They were terrible.
And
No.
if you're talking gold jackets, you can say what we wanted about Abdul Carter, and certainly
If you're looking at Jenny,
the third one.
He might be.
you're not
and
the
he's
Fran,
an
you're not looking for the
impact player
future.
day one.
They're not.
Look, these running backs only last 2 or 3 years and they're done.
If this works out,
Right, but they're trying to get a running back for the future so they can lock down for 4 years. Maybe they go for a quarterback next year.
I will say one other name, though, that we
Who you
have
gonna
not
get next
talked
year?
about here, at least since the
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm only going to bring this up because for the last
I think
2
they're going to
months,
screw up if they
the
pass on
assumption
Sanders.
is that he will
Yeah.
be in the top 5. It's not off.
Because, see, you got to look at a lot of people are going to be talking about Archie Manning. But Archie Manning got still 1 more year.
Yeah, it's not going to be next year. It's going to be the year after that.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where on the defensive
So,
line. Mason Graham got pressures up with him.
'cause he's just a sophomore.
absolutely possible, but my gut is given that number 29, and
He gotta play to his junior year.
because unless they're picking a
Yep.
quarterback here that they feel is compelling, given the quarterback situation, you have to have running. You have to have the ability to run the ball, whether it's Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 running backs on the
They got Kenny Pickett.
program.
Yeah, it's like
Problem taking the tackle. I'm not as
Kenny got his super.
So here's my thing. They think if they pick a running back here, you're going to win with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett.
the running back to me. When they were
I mean,
good,
come on now.
they could run the ball.
Well, you think about the great
If you
running
get
backs the
Sanders,
Browns
you
and
got a
so
running
Jimmy
quarterback.
Brown or anybody else
2
all
for
the way. Let's
1.
see if it is that
Come
or
on
if
now.
somebody
2 for 1.
else on the clock. Here comes Roger Goodell for the Browns.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
Oh my gosh.
the Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan.
So it is Mason Graham.
Nobody we was even talking about.
Browns.
Oh,
So they went defense.
In the state of
Brown,
Ohio as a Michigan
y'all
Wolverine. I'm
stupid.
sure someone he'll bring up when he goes to the grocery store. But Mason Graham, Pat, on a defensive
Oh,
line that
my
has Myles
goodness.
Garrett, as a guy, to your point, I know you were just talking about the traits that
Wow.
maybe not fit the prototypical top 5 defensive tackle, but production
Wow.
for the All-American was off the charts for the Wolverine.
Was it? He had 9 sacks.
So they got somebody that's going to be sitting next to Myles Garrett.
Up the middle.
I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah.
That's your 3 technique, which is what he is. You better be in the backfield making plays.
He is a energizer bunny. He plays with a great motor. A lot of the stuff that he gets accomplished doesn't show up in the stat book. There's no question he's an
Well,
accomplished
Browns
player.
ain't going to the playoffs
You know,
again
nuts
this
and
year.
bolts.
Yeah.
And Stefanski obviously sees that in him, and it will help
Wow.
Myles Garrett.
It's going to help everyone, and I'm glad that the defensive coordinator is getting
Well,
because the guy's scheme is terrific.
You got a defense, but no offense to put no points up. You better hope the defense can score.
One of his teammates
Yeah, but they going by the old-fashioned rule. Defense wins games. Well, no, defense wins championships.
Defense wins championships. They don't have an offense to score any points.
Uh-huh.
They don't have Amari Cooper no more. They traded him. They don't have Nick Chubbs. They brought Joe Flacco, which he can win some games, but he's going to throw a lot of interceptions. They have no running back. They have a tight end. They do have that, Njoku.
They still got their savior, Deshaun Watson.
Nah, he's still out the whole season. So I don't know. Browns disappointed me. They did. They really did.
Extra picks from the Texans as well. So,
I hope that's the only disappointment because we got some more boneheads coming around here at number 12. Them Cowboys, I'm like, everybody think they're going for receiver Omarion. I forgot what his name was. Omarion Hampton, but I forget where he's from. And I'm hoping they don't.
Okay.
Dallas needs that line. Dallas needs a running back. Dallas needs some defensive forefront. Defense's forefront. And while you playing, they need an offensive line because Terrence Steele ain't kicking it. He needs to go. And I think Zach Martin retired this year, so now they need to replace him.
Does the Jets go quarterback? They need one.
Well, here's the thing. I found out watching one of these draft shows. They say the Jets won't go quarterback because they got Justin Fields. And when Justin Fields was in the draft, they wanted to get him, but Chicago drafted him before the Jets could get him.
Well, you see how Fields turned out in Steelers.
Yeah.
There was no offensive production when he was in that lineup. I mean, there wasn't. They were winning, but the offense was horrible.
Right? Yeah. They had scored more points under Russell Wilson, but it was like I would give Justin Fields this. He was a manager. He got on there. He did things that where it wouldn't cost them the game.
That's right.
But at the same time, even though it didn't cost him the game, he wasn't doing it. He wasn't.
It's funny you say that because Kyler Murray came in a red suit.
Yeah, he did. That's true.
And we all say he was tipped off.
But that was pick
It's
number
back on for a second. Anyway,
In the 2025 NFL Draft,
there we went.
the Las Vegas Raiders select
Running back.
Ashton Genty.
Yep.
Running back.
We called that one.
linked to Vegas. He goes to Vegas. 2,600 yards this past season. The runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. And as Rick Neuheisel, you said earlier, if he
Hey,
only took his
let me tell you something.
contact this past season,
My Chiefs is going to have their hands full this year in that division.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, with the Raiders?
Cannot wait.
Well, you got the Chargers, the Broncos. The Raiders are going to make some noise. They may
I
not.
think the Raiders will try their best not to finish last, but still will finish last.
Yeah, like at 8 and 9.
Yeah.
7 and 10. But still making noise. It's better than what they've been doing.
Yeah.
With Josh and with Saquon and with Derek. Exactly. And guess what? Now everyone thinks this is a great pick.
All right, let's see what happens here.
We were the four guys saying it.
Wow.
Life has changed.
Saquon went for 2,000. He put Philadelphia on his back. I mean, their passing game stunk until the playoffs. Honestly, it did. And Saquon rode that team all the way to the Super Bowl.
Gotta take a break. Jets pick is in. Panthers are on the clock. 6 picks down.
Woo! We're going real fast now.
Yeah, we are.
Drafting the perfect roster.
Well, unfortunately, I went to commercial, so I don't know who the Jets. Theirs already in, and
Outdoor power
Panthers is on the clock.
truly innovative lineup.
Well, I'm having trouble with my TV.
Gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. Plus, the same battery powers all Ego's essentials. From mowers and blowers to chainsaws and trimmers. It's all power, zero compromise. Check out the Ego.
Let me ask you this. Hey,
Must-have tools at
I see something just sticking out at me at number 13.
Countdown is on for the next pick of the 2025 NFL Draft.
What?
Amy's got pick number 13.
Rounds, 3 days live from
Huh.
They need a quarterback.
with NFL Network
draft coverage presented
Yeah, because
He's
Tua.
from Florida.
Plus and on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN.
Yeah.
Is that where it's going to land?
Visit NFL.com/.
I don't know. Because, Jerry do stupid stuff. If he's still available by 12,
Have you ever used Cheapo Air?
Jerry might pull the plug and get Shador.
Well, here's the thing, though. Carolina could go quarterback. Saints could go quarterback. Saints need a quarterback.
Saints who was they talking about? I think Saints was trying to get Travis Hunter because they wanted.
They didn't try too hard. They didn't try to trade up.
Yeah, they ain't trying to trade up because the guy I was talking to, not the guy I was talking to, but the show I was watching with Kellen Moore there is their new head coach and everything. They're gonna try to open up that offense.
Browse our huge selection of curated luxury vehicles. JoePerlo.com is based in Chicago.
Who's their quarterback?
Derek Carr.
JoePerlo.com. That's Joe Perillo,
Yeah.
PERLLO. Or dial 312.
They think Derek Carr still got something left.
Maybe 2 years. I'd say maybe.
I don't give him that. I think the Raiders drained him for everything. I think how he left how the Raiders, it was like a bad move how he left everything. I think that just took everything out of him.
Now they started out hot last year, and he got hurt, didn't he? He got
No,
hurt.
his oh yeah, he sure did get hurt. Yeah, he did.
He got hurt because Rattler or whatever had to come in.
Yeah.
So he got hurt, and they started out hot. So
Yeah, week 2 they beat my Cowboys like 40-17 or something.
yeah. They started out like 4-0. You remember?
Yep.
And they were looking good, and then he got hurt, and then it all started unfolding. Everybody was getting hurt.
When something happens to your car,
Kamara got hurt too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kamara got hurt. Their backup got hurt. Ratliff had to go in.
but what you really need to say is something that can actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Yeah, they did have a bunch of injuries.
Help you file your claim right on the State Farm mobile app.
Let's see what.
Just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We'll see what the Jets
At
gonna
Circle
do.
Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments.
I swear they're showing 90 million commercials.
At home or at work, we'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. We proudly use Sherwin-Williams paint.
Feels like home.
Every pick, every round. This is the 2025 NFL Draft. Here's Pat Kerwin, Rick Neuheisel, Jim Miller, and Jason Horowitz.
As we're happy to have you back with us here in Green Bay, 6 picks down. The Jets pick is in. The Panthers are halfway through their 10-minute clock as we roll on.
I still can't believe that 10-minute clock.
I know.
That's just mind-boggling.
That's why this first round takes so long.
Well, it wasn't last year. It wasn't 10 minutes.
I know. Swore up now last year was 3.
I thought it was 6, but I could have been wrong.
The Browns taking Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham, and the Raiders with the selection of Ashton Genty and his 2,600 yards from Boise State this past year. We wait the Jets pick here. It's a new realm here for the Jets. It's Aaron Glenn at head coach. It's Justin Fields at quarterback.
I want to ask Pat, brand new GM here as well.
Now I like Aaron Glenn as their coach because he used to be their shutdown corner years ago.
Well, tackle's safe in a sense. You can always help him with a tight end or a back. And are you safe if you go the other way with the tight end? Now, I was there and we drafted multiple tight ends.
I'm shocked
Really
that
very well for us. I had
you ain't seen the Chiefs try to move up.
one of the great all-timers, Johnny Mitchell.
Oh, they said the Chiefs would try to move up. Chiefs,
But
so
they moved up the last 2 years.
yeah, through Buffalo. Buffalo ain't on the clock yet.
Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. I felt
They was talking about all the times that the Chiefs flamboozled the Bills because they traded up and then they got Pat Mahomes. They traded up, got Xavier Worthy.
They the Bills are only the Chiefs got 31st pick. The Bills got 30th.
Yeah, it ain't too much.
Unless they trade with the Rams, because the Rams are loaded right now. The Rams have got the 26th pick.
Where you need to be, where he's a viable run threat, you create more guys
But
in the
I
box,
think right
maybe
now
your,
the Chiefs need a
outside
lot,
receivers
man.
in one-on-one coverage.
They need a line. They need secondary.
Let's find out.
So,
I agree. They need that line and they need secondary.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select
oh, offensive tackle.
Missouri.
Offensive tackle.
Okay. Well, you don't need a running back because you got Brees Hall in there. Now you got Justin Fields. You're getting the lineman to protect him.
All coming at right tackle. And Armand Membu, Jim Miller, really burst onto the scene when
You know what Aaron Rodgers is saying? Why didn't you do this for me?
Exactly. You see my Achilles?
And hey, let's face it. Mekhi Becton was a failed draft pick. They tried him at both left
I
tackle,
mean,
put him at right tackle.
who's
Didn't work out.
Panthers? Who they going with?
Veteran to really stabilize the position.
Panthers still believe in Bryce Young, so they don't need a quarterback. They did.
They had a rookie running back last year, didn't they?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know what they had. I know they took Dallas's running back. They got Rico Dowdle, but he really wasn't nothing. Yeah, he got his 1,000 yards in, but he wasn't nothing that was.
Well, they got him and that other. I forgot who that other guy they had. They may not go running back. They may go receiver.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll go as receiver. Or they probably need to go line also.
Yeah. You done had two linemen go already.
I think John Gruden did a stat.
So,
went and studied their offense where literally their run game started and stopped over Penei Sewell, and maybe that's what Aaron Glenn's thinking with Membu, but they got to fix their offensive line.
So Armand Membu,
hey, they just said the same thing.
Yep.
Taken in the first round since John Clay in 1987 went to the Raiders. So almost 40 years between Missouri offensive linemen going in the first round, but Armand Membu goes number 7 to the New York Jets. So here we are at number 8 and the Carolina Panthers. And where we are so far to this point, Rick Neuheisel, is that we've got...
So Sanders did fall back.
He did. And it shocked me. He's going to fall out of the top 10.
One of the guys, like I said, he might be right. He said Sanders will fall to 21, and the Steelers will get him. I don't see him going that far.
If he falls that far and the Steelers get him, that's a steal.
Yeah.
That's a steal. And here's the thing. I've done mentioned it. Your running backs, drafting a running back, let's see. I don't know if Genty's going to hold up in the NFL. Now,
I think there's tons of needs.
what's his name?
To me,
It was with the Giants and went to the Eagles, the running back.
Barkley?
Barkley. Now, I don't know. I don't think he's built like Barkley. Barkley's
Right.
a stud. Barkley in college was benching like 500 pounds.
Yeah. It wasn't they benches, they squat. He squats 600 pounds.
Yeah. So it was like all the way.
Jalen Hurts also squats that too.
Yeah. And he was benching 400 or 500 pounds on top of that. So, I mean, he was a stud. I don't know if Jennings, I don't know how his work ethic is. But to take a running back that early, that quick, which I know they need a running back. But like I said, running backs ain't lasting long. 2 or 3 years and they're done.
Yeah.
So won't you invest either a line or like a quarterback with Sanders? The quarterbacks are lasting longer than your running back.
Mm-hmm.
If they're if they're NFL ready.
Carolina Panthers, Dave Canales heading into year number 2. They have not had a winning season since 2017. And you know, on
Yeah,
the
you know what?
defensive side, they added some
I
players.
hope
They
they
added
don't.
Treshaun Wharton
I hope
and
they
Bobby
turn
Brown
into
up front.
the
They
Cleveland
added
Browns.
Patrick Jones from Minnesota.
The way we was treated when we went down there to Carolina. I hope they don't have a winning season next 20 years.
But again, the defense last year, dead last in the NFL, giving up more than 31 points a game. The worst run defense in the NFL by total yards allowed in 45
So,
years. But when you're
some of our
5-12,
listeners,
to
in
your
case you
point,
didn't know,
offensive help.
took my family down to Charlotte to watch the Chiefs play the Panthers, and we was leaving, and then there was fans. I had my children there. My oldest daughter's 21. Yeah, the two middle ones, 10 and 7, and had some fans started in on my oldest daughter holding my youngest daughter's hand, walking in front of us. Had some fans start on them as we was leaving, and then it got a little ugly. And I didn't expect that, being in Charlotte from that fan base. I would expect that in Cleveland. I would expect that in Philly. But not with that fan base in there with the Panthers in Charlotte.
Yeah, I wouldn't assume that like with them that they're rowdy bunch. I know they can get rowdy in Philly. We know that.
I will say this though, it was Thanksgiving weekend. These were a bunch of young punks, 21, 22, maybe 20. They were drunk, but this girl started in on my daughter who wasn't doing nothing. She was just walking ahead. We was leaving. And this was all three of my children's first time at an NFL game, and that's what we got to experience.
Yeah, for the first game, yeah.
Thanks a lot for you Panther fans down there in Charlotte. I hope you don't win.
I like Jahdae Barron, the corner slash.
Especially when you got a 7-year-old. I mean,
Mike.
If I didn't have the little ones, I wouldn't have got two little red.
Right.
I'd have just told my 21-year-old daughter to take care of her business.
And certainly an offensive line, right? The only position in the first 7 picks where you have had duplicate.
So, as I was growing up, we mentioned when we started this, I grew up a 49er fan.
Right.
So I always rooted for the 49ers growing up.
In the 2025 NFL draft,
Yeah,
ooh, we go.
It's in.
Carolina Panthers select
Receiver McMillan.
Wide receiver, Arizona.
So for the second
Yeah, we said they would go receiver.
Yep, so that's where they went. So, like I was saying, when I grew up a 49er fan, I rooted for the 49ers and anybody who was playing Dallas. But now, I'm going to root for my Chiefs and anybody who's playing the Panthers. I can say I feel sorry for your Cowboys for a little bit.
I do too. I just nervous. I just like I have become. I'm going more so like I grew up a Cowboys fan, but I'm now becoming more so a Stephen A. Smith fan because I'm like some of the stuff I used to always hate how he's always dogging my camp, but I'm like, you know what, Stephen, you're right. Kind of hearing what you're saying.
To use them what they need, but jump ball plays, all those type of things. But if you just think of Mike Evans, I think that's what this guy can be.
Drake London comes to mind in this category. Yeah, he's a open receiver when he's covered. Yeah, that's what he is, and that gives Bryce Young a place to go when he's looking for some escape hatch.
Now,
you get to him into the boundary, and they've got him singled on a corner. You can put it up there.
Saints going offensive line or defense?
I
I say offensive line.
I would say that too because they had some running problems. They had some. Actually, they had blocking problems, period. That's how your running back gets hurt, your quarterback gets hurt. They didn't just... Rattler came in, but Rattler was a third-string quarterback. Because remember, Taysom Hill, he got hurt too.
Yeah, they were falling off like flies.
I think that's what Canellis is thinking.
Arizona has a first-round pick in back-to-back years for the first time since 1999 and 2000. Jordan Morgan last year right here in Green Bay. He was the Packers' first-round pick.
Where do you think the Bears would go?
I don't know. They got receiver. Oh, Keenan Allen, he left. So
Yeah, Keenan Allen left.
they said they needed to go back because one of the things they had Swift, and he didn't pan out last year. They was talking about the running game didn't pan out last year, so they need to get a running back. Probably the running game didn't pan out last year because that line wasn't blocking for him.
Well, if you don't got a passing game, your running game ain't going to do nothing. If you don't got a running game, your passing game ain't going to do nothing.
Yep.
So it kind of runs off each other.
Yep. All right, let me make this run. I'm gonna leave this phone running with the score and everything, with the commentary. But I gotta go pick up this boy real quick.
All right, I'll be here and I'll be
holding it down.
Holding it down, talking away.
All righty. All right, see you in a minute.
It really comes down to that relationship. You know, in that time that they spent on one another. The film doesn't lie, but will the relationship flower? Will it blossom? Is this guy coachable? That's ultimately what it comes down to. With McMillan gone and the need at New Orleans.
Well, now with that Carolina, they have a tall receiver. They had a big target for Bryce Young to throw to, and we'll see how that pans out for them. We'll see where the Saints go. I still think Saints is going to go offensive line, like Beans and I just mentioned. We'll see what happens. We'll see. And then the Bears is just. I think both Bears and Saints need to go offensive line. Both of those had trouble with protection and blocking, so let's see where it's going to go with this pick.
Premiums because of the absolute necessity for them, but I think it's too early. I see this as a potential wide receiver. Is this Matthew Golden right here?
Yeah, it's either him or Luther. I think I like Luther Burden too. I mean, but could be. I mean, they do need speed, and Golden, both the Texas receivers offer that. I mean, they can flat out pick them up and put them down. So I can't argue receiver as a potential pick here.
Remember, Chris Olave had the
they just mentioned receiver. Thing is, though, if you can't have no protection, it don't matter what fast receiver you got. If the quarterback don't have time to throw, what does that matter? And they need some protection. Derek Carr's got the protection he needs. He's going to be able to move the ball and pick them apart. That'll open it up for Kamara. They're coming out of the backfield to be able to run.
Because that's who Sean Payton wanted, who coached him in New Orleans.
And if you're going to play with a young quarterback, his best friend is a tight end.
Yeah, and if Rattler or any of those young quarterbacks play, at least you got a reliable target. Both of them.
The New Orleans Saints have one of the younger coaches in the NFL. Kellen Moore will be 37 in July, fresh off winning a Super Bowl as the offensive coordinator. Let's find out what he's getting with his first draft as a head coach. Here's Roger Goodell.
With the 9th pick
There we
in the
go.
2025
Offensive
NFL
tackle.
draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr.
Offensive tackle. There we go.
So the run on tackles has started. 3 of them are off the board, Pat Kerwin. You have your hand raised in the air like it's 4th grade. Yes, sir.
Well, did you hear that fire alarm that went off before? I felt we had to go out for a fire drill.
Yeah.
That happened. So Jim asked me a question at 3 o'clock.
I think that was a good choice. I know a lot of these announcers. Just like he just talked. He mentioned the receiver, but when you don't have the protection, it don't matter. You can't get the ball off. So, and I could be wrong. I think the Bears may go offensive line too. So, and I don't know how deep this draft is with offensive linemen. My Chiefs need some protection. They need offensive line. So by the time it gets down there to that 31st pick, it probably ain't gonna be there.
Left tackle, and they got to solidify, their offensive line. And typically, Mickey Loomis has drafted really good offensive line.
So,
Cesar Ruiz to all the guys that they have down there, other than Penny.
And then the 49ers, man, sitting here at number 11.
Well, this
They are.
spells trouble for him.
I figure they'll be going receiver. They done got rid of Debo. They done got. They need receivers. So,
When we talked about the GM,
I'm not mistaken. Ayuk is gone too. So,
he will take the tackle. He doesn't move down. We all know that story.
I figure they'll go receiver. There, you got your quarterback, you got your running back,
We believe in
you got your tight end.
And at no point yet have we talked
So-
enough here about the pick itself. And Calvin Banks, 6'5", 315-pound junior, and we did talk about this with Will Campbell at number 4.
So my next two, I figure they're going to be offensive tackle again. Offensive line,
The Outland Trophy winner this past year is the nation's best interior
receiver,
offensive lineman, a first-team All-American,
and then just like Beans
and a
mentioned,
second-team All-American.
don't
But
be surprised if
42
Dallas
career
don't go
starts
ahead and
at
pick up
Texas in
Sanders.
3 years
'Cause
at
that's
left
just,
tackle.
We can almost say the same things we said about.
I could see him going to 13 to Miami since they're being from Florida. His brother just went to Jacksonville. Him being in Miami needs a quarterback. Tua and his injuries and them head injuries. So
And he suffered the slings and arrows and came right back and fought his way through it. It's a very, very safe pick if you didn't have anything else that you thought.
if you look at the Colts, has got Richardson, and the Falcons has got Phoenix Jr. upcoming. So now the Cardinals could go quarterback if they wanted to.
He wants to be a prototypical left tackle, and he's been that all through college.
If you listen to the head coach who Jim and I had on the other day, you would have voted for him for president. The guy, everything he said was about the other stuff, the work ethic, the leadership.
You're talking about Steve Sarkisian, the Texas head coach.
So
about him, and he talked about almost all of his picks. When he got to him, he could not stop talking about the stuff that this guy's made of. And I guarantee Sark told every NFL guy who came through that story. And that sticks with you.
yeah, I figured the Bears already have their pick in by now.
For a brand new head coach, needs to make sure that the culture
With a completely unknown situation at quarterback, at least as the night starts. We are up to pick number 10. It's the Chicago Bears here in Green Bay on a night that has had one quarterback. A year after we had 6 in the first 12, Cam Ward went number 1. The Browns traded back out of 2 with the Jaguars, who moved up to take Travis Hunter. Abdul Carter went to the Giants at 3. Will Campbell 4 to the Patriots. Mason Graham to the Browns at 5. Defensive tackle out of Michigan. The Raiders took running back Ashton Genty. Armand Membu, the big right tackle from Missouri, going to the Jets. Teteroa McMillan, receiver from Arizona to the Panthers, and now Calvin Banks. And Jim, we get to the Chicago Bears, who you played for. You do TV and you do other media things for the Bears as well throughout the course.
Well, like I said, I thought this pick would already been in for the Bears. They're letting the time go down.
Caleb Williams, number 1 last year, and they completely revamped their offensive line. What are you looking at for Chicago right now?
Yeah, unfortunately for the Bears, Calvin Banks goes
Trying
off
to see if the
board
pick is
because I'd
in.
like them
If it's not, then there's a chance they're trying to trade that pick back, or they're trying to trade back, but I don't know why they would.
They added 2 guards. They traded for Joe Tooney of Kansas City. To me, their weak link was left tackle.
Can Josh Simmons be that guy?
Coming off the injury, that's probably the one I don't think the Bears can do, because every offensive lineman they've drafted.
There we go. See what happens.
They've also been linked to tight end a lot the last 3-4 weeks. Let's find out. Here's Roger Goodell with Chicago's pick in front of a Packers crowd.
Yesterday, the NFL family lost a true legend, Bears Hall of Famer Steve McMichael. My heart is with the McMichael family during this incredibly difficult time. Misty, please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. Mongo's remarkable contributions to the game and the community will never be forgotten. His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. 50 years ago, with the 4th pick in the 1975 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selected one of Steve McMichael's teammates and closest friends, Walter Payton, running back, Jackson State. Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns over 13 seasons, all with the Chicago Bears. As you heard earlier, the NFL continues to honor Sweetness, not only for his performance and excellence on the field, but also his commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
Oh man, tight end. They're going tight end.
Chicago Bears select Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan.
Went tight end. I figured they'd go offensive line, but they didn't.
Steve McMichael.
Um,
Packers fans allowed that without noise. Then they booed the Bears pick, which is Colston Loveland, Michigan.
they
Going at number 10. We will talk about that
So,
coming up here in just a
I
little
think
bit.
puts 49ers on the clock, which that's like I said, 49ers should be going, I would think, receiver. But we'll see what happens there. But I'm still curious about pick 12 and 13. See what happens there. See who Dallas is going to take, who Miami's going to take.
At any point in the last
So.
couple of weeks.
No, I haven't talked to Jacksonville since the combine, so I didn't know what to think, but I'm happy and I'm blessed. You know, I get to go back home and I get to go play with a great group of guys.
Yeah. What does that mean, getting to go back home? Being a Florida kid yourself, obviously you've been on a journey. Coach Prime said, hey, I got a plan for you. It turned out the plan was dead on right? It's amazing how it all came true.
It means a lot. You know, I get to go back and get some good fishing in the off season. So I ain't got to go nowhere. And I get to, be
So here we
close to
go.
family,
We
but
pick
also,
11.
They get to come and see me play every weekend. So that's definitely a blessing for me to be out there and be able to play.
Trying to see
And it's
who they could probably go with.
It's always warm. But it does rain a lot, but it's all good.
That's all good. Okay, everyone asks you the same question. We'll ask you just for our listeners. I thought John Harbaugh said it best about you. Don't anybody tell him what he can't do. And it was the smartest, simplest comment. No one needs to predict what you can do. Well, tell us what you're going to do.
I'm not going to tell them what I'm going to do.
Well, tell us. We're not the bosses.
But I still got to show. I still got to be able to show and, be able to go in there and do what I've always been doing. So I still got a lot to work on as.
So the 49ers, they could probably go with,
do my best.
you got Matthew Gordon from Texas.
The meeting's at 9 o'clock.
He's still there as a receiver. Then you got Higgins from Iowa State, Abuka from Ohio State, and then Trey Harris. That's just some they can go with. It's still out there as far as receivers. There's plenty receivers left. This class runs pretty deep, so we'll see where the 49ers go with this pick, which should be receiver.
I love to ask questions. I love to learn. So, when the coaches, if it's something that I don't understand, I'm willing to go ask. And, this is my job. I want to be the best.
I don't know. We'll see if Beans gets back before his team picks.
That sounds like an
But
approach of a guy who goes on to win the Heisman Trophy.
we'll find out.
Travis Hunter with us here on Sirius XM NFL Radio. You said you hadn't talked to the Jaguars since the combine. When they called you, you were announced tonight as a wide receiver and defensive back. Again, you're all excited to be picked too, but was that discussed at all about how they want to use you?
Let's see here.
They call me a receiver and a defensive back, so that's exactly what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna go in there and do my best. But I still got.
What do you think here about having this up?
Right, and I gotta prove a lot of people wrong. And I gotta go out there and work. They believe in me, so I gotta
Don't
show
show.
so much.
You have gained all sorts of attention around the country as being a remarkable athlete.
49ers pick is in.
One of the things that isn't getting as much mention is what kind of a student you are. You were a fabulous student at Colorado.
But let's see what they got here. And the thing is
that as exciting for you?
As the 49ers, even though they don't,
what's going to happen?
their need is showing offense, cornerback, edge, defensive tackle, and center. They're not showing a receiver, but after losing Deebo Samuel, you would think, they would go try to get a receiver.
They'll let you go to graduation.
Yeah, I'm a great student, and I love to learn. That's
But we'll see where that goes with that.
I'm too good, chill, laid back, love to fish, but I also love to learn. I don't think I'm too big or too big of anybody. I think I'm a human just like the rest of us.
Well,
pretty exciting.
Last question for me is just how you, on both sides of the ball, how you attack the football, whether it's going up to make play, how you say a ball's underthrown, boom, you're right away, you're reacting.
Just looking here at some line, see what's left on the line part.
To get it. And defensively, I'd say the same thing when you're forcing fumbles and things like that. Like, has that always been a part of you? Because you don't seem to hesitate in anything. It's like you see it all.
Got some
and you
linemen out
react
there.
right away.
Yeah, I'm super
But-
excited to see the ball in the air. So the ball in the air is mine.
There's no such thing as a 50-50 ball.
Yeah, no such thing as a 50-50. You know, I grew up with a lot of.
Let's see if they get to it. Who the 49ers? The pick is in. We're just sitting here waiting right now.
They already know. Like, I'm not going for it. I want to be the best at everything. I was at David Buster's the other day, and we had this little jackpot thing.
So it don't look like Beans is going to be back before Dallas picks.
Animal, or what would you take home?
I got a
So
Pikachu.
we'll see. I wanted to see his reaction live when it happened,
Congratulations, Travis. Best of luck. Go
but
to
it's
Jacksonville.
not
Pick number
looking
2,
like it's
Travis
going to
Hunter,
be.
the Heisman Trophy winner.
So.
Enjoy the rest of the circuit tonight and your trip to Jacksonville tomorrow. The Bears took Colston Loveland at number 10. The Niners pick is in. The Cowboys are on the clock. We'll step aside. It's the 2025 NFL Draft here in Green Bay.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language.
I'm just curious to see where Sanders is going to fall to. They're saying Steelers at 21,
Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's
which,
bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words
well,
and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
if the Cardinals don't get a quarterback,
Babbel est amusant et facile de comprendre
Cardinals and
quand tu cherches
Seahawks
une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you
to
want to really
draft a
learn another
quarterback,
language, it starts with Babbel.
Bengals don't need one. The Bucks don't need one.
Now try Babbel
Broncos
for
don't
free
need
at
one.
Babbel.com.
So it is a possibility he could fall to 21.
That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
If he makes it past 13, he probably will. So we'll see what happens. We do know he's not going to San Francisco. We do know that. We can't say that with Dallas because, you know, the connection that Jerry Jones has with Dion. And he would like, I'd say, to have him on the team. So
2 months ago, but it was the Jaguars trading up from 5 to 2 to take the Colorado wide receiver and defensive back. And he says he'll be in both meetings. Cam Ward went number 1. We expect him to join us on set here momentarily. The Giants took Abdul Carter, Patriots Will Campbell, and then the Browns Mason Graham. That's your top 5. We're up to 11. It's the Niners. Here's Roger Goodell.
here we go.
Thank you to our men and women who serve in the United States military for your sacrifices to defend our country's freedom. With the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers
Whoa, they
select
went defense.
Michael Williams,
They went
defensive end,
defense.
Georgia.
Well, the Niners had lost much of their defense over the course of this past offseason, and so they addressed defense here with pick number 11. It is Georgia Bulldog Michael Williams going to the San Francisco Niners. We will get to that coming up here. We'll talk Colston Loveland in a little bit as
Now
well.
the Cowboys are on the clock.
As we told you right from the outset, we get to the podium for every pick, but it was
We'll see what happens here with Dallas.
well, and you were the first one called tonight. Cam Ward.
I have no idea what
for the
that was.
Tennessee Titans. You've kind of been hearing that for
So
weeks, months, now that it's reality. What went through your mind tonight when you heard that?
Well, it was a blessing to get that call from those guys up there. And I just think the hard work paid off. For myself, for my family. I'm pretty sure my mom and dad enjoyed it a lot more than I did. She's a big reason why we're here at the draft. But I had a hard journey coming up here. But I stayed down for the come up. I believed in God. I just kept working hard.
We had you at the combine. Your mom was sitting right next to you.
Yes, sir.
And when you were with us, she was a coach, and I could just tell the way she was looking. Some looked like moms.
See here.
She looked like a coach who was waiting for you to make sure you made the right answers. But very proud of you.
Dallas has got their pick in.
Yes, sir. I know she's
Waiting
proud.
to
She's a
see
big
it.
reason
Oh,
why we're here.
waiting
They
for the
sacrificed a
announcement
lot
here.
just financially, time-wise, get me to where I need to be.
Is
But,
Dallas
I'm
going? Are
grateful
they
to
going
have
to
that
go
opportunity.
defense,
Always have to follow
or
a
are they
game
going to
plan.
land that?
You got to learn it. Got to be able to get it done on the weekend.
They got
when it
receiver, running back,
matters most. Your game plan
edge,
coming out of
corner,
high school
offensive
did
guard.
involve going to Incarnate for a couple years.
They may
then off to
go
Washington
running
State for a
back.
couple years in Miami. How did this all happen, and how did you deal with all the changes in your collegiate career to get yourself to this point?
That wasn't part of my plan.
I didn't think so.
My plan is to go, to a Power 5, play 3 years, get a chance to, be an NFL quarterback. But that's not what God had in store for me. He made me really get out the mud, made me go through some real adversity. But I never lost faith, and I never lost my work ethic. And I just think everything I went through is, prepared me for this moment. It's going to prepare me to go through adversity in the NFL. And, I'm excited, man. I mean, this moment is just thrilling because
There's some good running
I think,
backs that's
I'm
still
the
up
first one to
there
do it from where I'm from in West Columbia, Texas. And so, I'm proud to be one of the best quarterbacks.
Dallas to go after, but we'll see where they go with this pick. It's and it's going to be offensive line, offensive guard. Is who Dallas went with. Tyler Booker.
NFL Draft. The Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
All right, so the first interior offensive lineman selected. He is going to
So
Dallas
now
as they
Miami
try to
is
revamp
on the clock.
their offensive line.
So we'll see where they're on the clock.
Okay, I just heard something about Dallas.
They picked an offensive guard, Tyler Booker.
Okay, I could live with that.
So I'm going to say this: if Miami does not pick up Sanders, he will fall to 21 and go to the Steelers. Because here's what you look. Here's who you got. The Colts, they got Richardson. Falcons has got Phoenix Jr., a young quarterback.
Yeah, Colts got somebody else because they said they're gonna have a quarterback battle between Richardson and I forgot who they got.
So they don't. I forgot who it was.
Oh, Daniel Jones.
Oh well, that ain't gonna be much. Daniel Jones didn't have no line in New York. Well, then you get down, unless the Arizona Cardinals take a quarterback, which they probably need one.
Yeah. If they get a quarterback, they will deal Kyler Murray.
They will. Because listen. Here's your next ones falling all the way to 21. The Bengals. Bengals don't need a quarterback.
Don't.
Seahawks has got a mess in quarterback there.
Yeah, because they got Aaron Donald. They could use a quarterback.
They could. And then you got the Bucks and you got Broncos. The Bucks don't need a quarterback. The
Broncos don't need a quarterback.
So then it's the Steelers. So there's a great possibility he could fall up to 21 and get picked by the Steelers.
I don't know what it was that happened at the combine because I don't watch that kind of stuff. So it was like because before the combine, everybody was talking about Sanders was going to be number one. You remember that? It was always talking about number. And then the combine happened, and the next thing you know, it was like, well, Cam Ward is going number one, and they figured he would go like at least 2 or 3.
And here's my thing. All right, you hear some coaches, and they're probably the smarter coaches. I don't look at stats. I don't go by stats. Okay. If you look at Tom Brady, he had one of the worst columbines that there was. Look what Brady turned out.
Yeah.
Because you have a bad day there, and you're being based off of that. I mean,
that's true.
So you've seen his play, and if his play throughout the year didn't show enough, I mean, why? I mean, a player can have an off day. Nerves kick in, don't feel good that day, didn't sleep well that night before, has a bad showing at the Columbine, and you're going to base it off that.
Yeah, playing hurt, you still hurting, because a lot of them they still be hurting. They be like, oh, I'm good to go.
So they're letting that clock go down. Dolphins are.
Yeah, since I've been gone, I know the Saints got offensive linemen. Chicago got.
I mean, you called that.
Yeah, we did call that one. Somebody picked up a defensive lineman. I forgot who it was.
then Chicago got a tight end. That was
Yeah,
a
Chicago
little,
got tight end. That's right.
and then the 49ers got an edge rusher from
That's who it was. It was the 49ers who picked up which I don't know. They should have went running back.
no, they don't need a run back. They got McCaffrey. Didn't they lose Brandon Ayuk?
No, they still got Brandon Ayuk. They traded off Debo. They got McCaffrey. McCaffrey been getting hurt. It's just like the rookie quarterback they got. I mean, running back they got. They traded him. What was that dude's name? But they traded him.
Oh, Mitchell, not Mitchell.
Mitchell's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he's on my Chiefs.
Yeah, but the other he was a rookie. He came in after because McCaffrey went down, and they had another rookie come in, and he went down, and there was the rookie after him. He's gone also. And I cannot remember his name though. It was like Isaac or I forgot what his name was, but he's gone. So I'm like,
it started with a G, didn't it? Like
yeah, it was like Guerrero or something. Yeah, he's gone. So I mean, like, you need a running back. You got McCaffrey, yeah, but then again, I guess they could wait to like the third or fourth round to get a running back because you still got McCaffrey. McCaffrey can't be. It's just that McCaffrey get hurt. That was his problem at Carolina.
And the thing is, though, this injury he had was, I mean, like an off season or something that just came up.
Yeah.
Or if not, they kept it hush hush all off season.
It was something that like it was hurting the pass, and he wasn't actually 100%, but he was still playing.
Rick Neuheisel, you look like you were right. We have had one trade, and that trade was to get Travis Hunter.
I think that might be the first time you've ever said that.
No, come on.
No.
You knew your Louisiana Tech information 11 years ago when we first did a game together.
How about that?
But let's go through. We have with Cam
Come on
and
now,
Travis
Miami. The
Hunter
pick
and Apple
scene.
Carter
Just
joining
call
us
it.
here on set. Haven't had a chance to break down some of these recent picks. Jim Miller, I'll start with you. You played for the Bears.
Yeah.
Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan.
Oh, I did not know Steve McMichael.
I didn't know that either. Yeah,
he mentioned it.
that's right. He passed away. Speaking of that, while they doing the talking, I can go ahead and run that number around down here. Let's go ahead and bring in that crisis line just in case, you know.
Yeah, if anybody's thinking about hurting, harming themselves, just call that 988-91. They'll get you into the resources that you need. You can call 1-800-273-8255. Or go to your local VA medical center, to the ER, and tell them you need some help, and they'll get you in contact to the resources that you need.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to take that step. Call someone, talk to someone.
Yep, and look after your battle bunny. If he's acting strange, find out what's going on.
That's it.
It's Drake Greenlaw, it's Talanoa Hufanga, it's Shavarius Ward, all gone. Yes. They go defense, they take Mike
All right, let's see. Where do you think Miami's going?
Miami, if they go cornerback, that means they trading Jalen Ramsey. If they go wide receiver, they're going to deal with Tyreek Hill. But really, they need to go line, offensive line. Tua has too many. You see that picture, actually, which is so wrong. They had the Juggernaut's helmet. Tua.
They got their needs as offensive tackle, offensive guard, and then the rest defense.
Yeah, I can see that.
So they're going to go guard, or they're going to go offense.
Yeah, they gotta get on that line. That line needs work.
Given the contract situation with George Kittle, they obviously maybe they were. Loveland might have been their choice, and he was gone.
Well, we'll see. Well, your Cowboys didn't do a bonehead play.
They didn't. They went ahead and they took care because Zach Martin retired. So he was offensive guard, and they drafted a guard. So
defense. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle.
The Miami Dolphins select Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle Michigan.
So maybe this is the start of the run on the defensive side. It is a Michigan player taking
Not too happy with that choice. Not too sad with that choice. I mean, like, they did need defense, but you still, the main thing, Tua gets too many concussions. Sometimes, most of the time, it's due to his own fault. But he got, anytime he has to run, it's because his line is not holding up. So he runs, and then he runs into bad decision making. So
Colts have got their pick in already. They need defense. They need corner, linebacker, edge, tight end, offensive guard. And the tight end, I don't think the tight end is too deep.
yeah, I don't think this draft is deep in tight ends.
But two already went off the board, I think, or one.
I know the guy from Michigan went. Which one was the one that you was talking about? You hope the Chiefs get?
Penn State one.
Oh, okay.
But he may go here. I'd say he may go here at the Colts.
Versus Washington. I think Jim Harbaugh said it was one of the best plays ever to remember. When he basically chased down Katron Allen for a big play in that game. So, he's a big man that can move. There's more to him than what Pat said than just being a big body. I think he can provide a little pass rush as well.
Now he'll have to. His weight has fluctuated.
Let's see what happens here.
To 360 between his freshman and sophomore year.
Oh.
He weighed at 330 at the combine.
It stinks it takes so long for him to announce it.
I know.
Hurry in.
It ain't with all that doggone talking.
It's too hot. So he is going to the Miami Dolphins. They had a lot of offseason changes as well. A lot of players in, a lot of players out, but he goes to Miami. Let's go back to Tyler Booker here. The Colts pick is in. They are off the clock at 14. Falcons at 15 are now on the clock. We'll find out what Indianapolis is doing in a sec. So a lot of people have linked Tyler Warren to the Colts, so maybe there is that.
So,
Tyler Booker, Pat, to the,
with the
to
Falcons.
Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I'll say this. This is old school Dallas pick.
Exactly. This
is how they used to pick.
This is how they used to pick. Exactly.
Big, wide body power players. And that's who Tyler is. So
out of the Mickey Loomis handbook, right? You just go get yourself a great offensive line.
That's all you did. I mean, that's the reason why you talking about Dallas. That's the only reason why Emmitt Smith rushed for all those yards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, if he didn't have that offensive line, all right, here we go. Tight end. There went my guy. Penn State.
Oh.
I told you he'd probably go there.
NFL draft. The Indianapolis Colts select Tyler Warren, tight end.
There he goes.
So some thought he would go earlier. Tyler Warren, though, going to the Indianapolis Colts. And it feels Rick Neuheisel as a jack of all trades, a guy who has lined up as the quarterback, a guy that has lined up out wide, a guy that has blocked. He had over 100 catches. Penn State records through the roof. He can run the football. You talked about the USC game when we had Abdul Carter here. He had 17
catches in that game.
And now he goes
Well,
to the
now,
Indianapolis Colts.
It was one of the most amazing
Falcons on the clock. They need defense. They have a receiver they got on here need.
Can play anything. Lined up a couple times at quarterback.
Here's the thing. They should just go ahead and trade that. Trade that pick to see if they can get more picks, because they only have 5 picks this whole draft.
My thing is, how come they didn't trade Cousins already?
I know. I think they may have trouble moving him. Because if they trade, they was talking earlier, to say if they trade Cousins, somebody got to come up with $25 million to pay him up front.
Gotcha.
So it might be a money thing. Nobody's wanting to pick up on that $25 million.
The party started. It's all said.
He has an ability at 260 pounds. You see that 256, but he has an ability to lean on you as he's getting and then just separate.
So what do you think the
quarterbacks give is a friendly?
Well, they're going to go defense.
We're coming off a year in which Brock Bowers went right around this spot. He went 13 last year.
Edge rusher, defensive tackle, center, safety, receiver.
4 picks after Colston Loveland, the Michigan tight end, went 10.
But if they don't trade off that pick,
Falcons pick not made yet. 5.5 minutes.
they should go with line. everything I would do. You only got 5 picks. I would do everything to try to strengthen up my offense
Well,
around Penix.
well, they need a center. They need a needed center. A center has not came off the board, so you know you're going to get the best center of the draft.
Yeah.
Looking for a simple, effective way to keep
So
the muscle while you lose
we'll
the fat? Then you
see what
need
happens.
Cleanse the delicious
They
nutrition
also have a need for receivers, but
specifically for
I think they got
GLP-1
enough
users
that can
with a unique
keep them
amino
going.
acid blend to help prevent muscle loss and
They still
support
got
muscle
Mooney.
tone. Plus prebiotics for digestive health and collagen
I think
for
so.
skin elasticity, packed with electrolytes. It's
Yeah, because he was on my fantasy team. He ain't put up a lot of points. They got that Drake London is like their number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's actually not as good. I don't know what the word should be. I think Mooney is better. But Mooney has problem. I don't know if it was getting open or maybe he had some drops. But yeah, I had to drop him on my fantasy because he wasn't doing anything for me.
Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-814-1500. That's 800-814-1500. 800-814-1500.
To hear non-stop expert NFL
Man,
analysis from former players.
they're running this clock down.
Tune in to SiriusXM NFL Radio, channel 88.
Are they trying to trade to get some picks?
That's probably what they was trying to do. They're probably trying to trade.
Paychecks? At Schneider, we add new trucks to our fleet every year to keep
Nobody's biting.
Exactly. Like they said, the one thing that was gonna keep them up from getting rid of Cousins is that $25 million that whoever they get traded to, they got to come up with.
And apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Wasn't that delicious? So good.
Your bill, ladies.
Man, they're down. They're running it all the way down. I bet they try to trade this.
I insisted first. Oh, don't be silly. You don't be silly.
People with the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card prefer to pay because they earn unlimited 2% cash back on purchases.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors for it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. No!
The Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card. Visit wellsfargo.com/activecash.
Man, the last 4 or 5 picks ain't ran down this low.
Perfect roster means getting the right balance of power and performance. Season after season, Ego Outdoor Power Equipment.
I know. What we just at 14, 13.
The tools that has the power of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. Plus, the same battery powers all Ego's essentials.
Yeah, we're at 15 now.
It's all power, zero compromise. Check out the Ego lineup of spring must-have tools at EgoPowerPlus.com.
Imagine relying on a dozen different software programs to run your business, none of which are connected, and each one more expensive and more complicated than the last. It can be pretty stressful. Now, imagine Odoo. Odoo has all the programs you'll ever need, and they're all connected on one platform. Doesn't Odoo sound amazing? Let Odoo harmonize your business with simple, efficient software that can handle everything for a fraction of the price. Sign up today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
This is Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel, and you're listening to Sirius XM NFL Radio, channel 88.
Live from Green Bay, this is the 2025 NFL
Hey, they're down under a minute, and they still ain't got a pick in.
Wow.
And we're happy to have you back with us near the midway point of the first round. We are at minute 10 and counting left with the Falcons of their 10-minute clock. Have not made their pick yet here at 15. Followed by Arizona, Cincinnati, and Seattle. A night that started with Cam Ward going number 1 to the Titans, followed by the Jaguars making at this point the only trade of the first round.
24.
5-2 to take Travis Hunter from Colorado. They announced him as you'd expect. Wide receiver and defensive back. We have had 4 offensive linemen selected. Will Campbell at 4, to the Patriots, the tackle out of LSU. Armand Membu, tackle out of Missouri to the Jets at 7. Calvin Banks, the Texas tackle to the Saints at 9, as well as Tyler Booker, the Alabama guard.
But see, here's the thing. That's what I think is what you call it.
By the Indianapolis Colts at 14. One running back.
You would think that because some people are doing they getting a offensive lineman now in the first round, but you would think that the first round you would get all your skilled players like your running backs, your wide receivers, and all that, and your defensive backs, your defensive line. I mean, like you get all the skilled players.
Well, you get when it comes to your up front, even on defense, and even in the middle of up front of your line. I guess you're trying to get the best of the best, and that probably only goes so far deep as far as getting a good athletic big man.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a big man that's athletic. It's not as many as maybe that's what they're looking at there.
That's true. It's one thing to have a big guy, on the line, but you won't want a big guy that can move because, he's 300 pounds and he's hard to move. But these defensive ends, they go around their big ass now.
like Leon Lett. Almost 400-pound man I ever seen.
I
don't know how much he weighed. He was like 350, 360.
He was a big dude.
Yeah, man, he ran. I forgot who that was.
And don't have a touchdown either. He came in there. I had the ball. It was Don Beebe. He came back and smacked that ball out of his hand.
I'm not talking. I mean, I said Leon Lett. That offensive line, y'all had an offensive lineman on the offensive line back in that day too.
I know who you're talking about. I cannot think of his name.
Williams, was it Williams' last name?
Eric Williams was the tackle on one side. He's the one
who is. Linebacker, John Walker.
The Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker, defensive end.
Jalen Walker.
And Pat, you just called it as a guy that you thought.
Totally going against what I said. Go all offenses. You only got 5 picks. Help out your offense to help Penix Jr.
And hopefully these other picks. I don't know why he took so long. They must have been trying to trade.
I think that's what they was really trying to do, trying to trade, and they couldn't get nobody to bite.
The guy will play inside, and you can blitz him. If you like to blitz your inside backers, if anyone like the Pittsburgh style of defense.
Well, here's Cardinals are on the clock. They need an edge rusher, receiver, corner, offensive guard.
It's unfortunate they had 2 to choose from, but I thought they'd take a Georgia guy, and we know Dr. Fauci's happy as could be right now.
The last few years, and they've been begging for an edge rusher. Like you said, they were 31st in sacks. Atlanta, I mean, how many years has it been? I think it's.
I'd say they'll go defense.
Abraham, when you're talking about an edge rusher who is relevant for the Atlanta Falcons, so they need more pass rush. I believe they added Leonard Floyd, who obviously Raheem Morris coached out there for the Rams as well, but they're trying to generate more pass rush, definitely.
Let's see who they go.
What about Bengals? You think Bengals go running back?
I would think they would, because it was just funny. It was a comedian. He was talking about the Bengals and how they gonna do on draft day. And he said we go all offense. We talk about the Bengals, and he said, why not go in defense? Because you lost all your defense. He says, no, we're going to work on the offense because we might not have no defense, but we're going to score 50 points on you every day. That's how they plan on winning these games. We're going 50 points. I know he was a comedian. He was just being funny. But that might make some sense. They might try that mess.
Well, that's what the Chiefs been doing pretty much.
They're going to start rotating them like a lot of teams are doing now, almost like a pitching staff.
Yep, it's like if we can just keep scoring on you.
As the game goes along to keep them fresh. The Buffalo Bills, Jim Schwartz is doing it for the Cleveland Browns, and I think Raheem Morris wants to go that route for Atlanta. They don't have
come on, Cardinals.
Dominator at this point.
We're up to pick number 16 here in the first round in Green Bay. is the Arizona Cardinals, another team that doesn't have a ton of picks. Now, again, you go into a year, there's 7 rounds. Hypothetically, you get 7 picks. They don't have 7, they have 6. There's certainly another team that could trade.
They only have 6 picks.
Halfway through their 10-minute clock, they have not made their selection. We have in front of us the screen that the NFL shows to the crowd in Green Bay, so you get the clock, and as soon as the pick is in, it transitions to the next team. So theirs has not made theirs yet.
Did he say 6 minutes?
But they were 8-9 last year. They went.
I don't know. I didn't hear. I was looking at I was seeing the Bengals is up next. Then you got Seattle, then Tampa, and Denver at 20.
Out of Missouri last year, Darius Robinson. Where are you looking, Rick Neuheisel, for a team that you have?
Well, I was hoping, these picks would go a little bit quicker now.
I know, right?
Highest on the list are Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon. We'll see exactly how they do.
Well, speaking of big guys, you were just talking defensive.
Speaking of big guys, we have one sitting in right now.
Speaking of big guys, nice transition. Mason Graham taken
Pick
5th
is in.
tonight by the Cleveland Browns, and he will make the trip down there to play right next to Myles Garrett. Mason, congratulations. The only teams that have made trades tonight, 2 and 5, and you were the recipient of the Cleveland Browns going to 5. Your phone call with them, the conversation when they were on the phone.
I mean, it was just crazy, Andrew Berry answered the phone. I knew right away. I was like, man, this is really happening. Just then once Coach Stefanski, then Coach Schwartz, and it trickled down everywhere. So just my 30 vision went really well with them, and I had a good feeling about it. So I mean, once I saw he traded back, I was just waiting for the phone to ring. So
Jimmy Schwartz and that defense.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's sitting around waiting and reading.
Oh no,
there's a war going on out there. He's bringing it every time.
Yeah, but that trade back, I didn't think that was for. I thought we still was gonna have Sanders go during the trade back.
You would think, but we'll see. I mean, Sanders is going to hit at 21, I think.
Yeah, that was a good call that dude did. I did not think that was going to happen.
Blockbuster trade at the beginning, but you did have time with the Cleveland staff to know.
What other position are you going to go for? They got a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
You brought some receivers in.
Yeah, because they got DK Metcalf.
Yeah, so you need an arm to throw to it. What better arm than Sanders?
You could use another receiver, because I have no faith in George Pickens. He needs to go. He's not a real. He's not. Well, they got DK Metcalf now, so you got a real number 1 receiver there. He might work out as a receiver too.
We go to the podium for every pick, and then we will get back to you. So Arizona's on the clock. Have you talked to Will Johnson about the Cardinals? Is this a landing spot?
They got a defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle.
Going back to KG and Colson,
defensive tackle.
Guys, we all came in together, me, Will, KG, and Colson. So,
This is not a what you call it.
16th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Mississippi.
All right, so it's not your Michigan brethren, it's your
What you call it. But Ewers went. I didn't expect Ewers to go in the first round anyway.
I talk to him, those guys almost every day. And
well,
just
thing with Ewers, I don't see him a top 4 or 5 pick. I don't see him a 6th, 7th. I mean, I just don't. I mean,
round 5 or 6, I could see him going.
I don't see him panning out in the NFL.
His entire career in the NFL as a DC.
And we'll keep up with this as we do this next year to see where he goes, and the year after that. But I don't.
No other, so I mean, I feel like I can fit right in that scheme. And
now, here's the thing.
Lamar and those guys.
These clocks right here, when it's showing on the computer, they ain't starting at 10 o'clock. 10 minutes now.
They didn't, because from what I'm showing, it's saying that the Bengals is on the clock, but I don't see no clock running either.
Well, the Bengals are on the clock. They got 6 minutes.
Oh.
Did you play second row?
So, they're at 6:05 right now. It's down to 6 minutes. So,
Nice.
You didn't participate in the
But-
money at Michigan, did you?
Oh no, that was
My
very.
brother broke his jaw. What about
Now here's the thing: they don't got a need. They appear for a running back.
Maybe that's not there anymore.
And they got who? Bernard, their quarterback. I mean, running back.
No, they had that dude. He was a rookie. He has a twin brother with. I think his twin brother plays on. Plays on Philly. What is that dude's name? I know his number was 30, but he was a rookie. He did pretty good last year. He just, I think he got hurt. I cannot remember his name.
Here's my thing.
But yeah, they don't.
Why do the Bengals need a receiver?
Well, I guess it'd be receiver 3. You got Jamar Chase at 1, T. Higgins at 2. Who would be number 3?
He's good at the other stuff, but that's his premier
Don't know. Oh, you got that one dude. I can't think of his name. He done good on the 3-roll last year. Man, I can't think of his name though. Their pick is in. They're
Watch, it's probably a receiver.
I say defense. Well, like you said, they'll go offense.
Because they had that one dude retire. Hubbard, he retired. So they still have Hendrickson.
Even though there's room for growth here, this is a big body. Well, and it's back-to-back years. They go defensive tackle in the first round. Now, again, Marvin Harrison Jr. was their first round last year, but they also had a first-round pick in their trade that they had made the year before with the Texans when they took Will Anderson. And
All right, come on, Bengals.
And they took Darius Robinson. They never really got a chance to see what he could do because he got hurt. I think they were thinking Robinson more of as an end, though. But on the defensive line, yes.
Amazing how fast the defensive selections are catching up right now.
Yeah.
That board was staring him in the face.
Well, +2 for Arizona. They added Delvin Tomlinson.
Well, I mean,
They added
all right, let's go
Calais
back up
Campbell.
here.
Those guys are up there in age. Love the players. They're good guys and all that, which will be good for Walter to be around. But
Walter to be around Calais Campbell will be.
I mean, they talk about offense, but
I totally agree.
defense, it's been defense. Cornerback, edge. You got offensive tackle, defensive tackle, then you're running back, offensive tackle, receiver, offensive tackle, tight end, edge, defensive tackle. I mean, linebacker, defensive tackle.
Yeah, they lost a lot of people on defense last year.
The last was Tyler Booker at number 12 by the Cowboys. 3 defensive linemen with Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant, and Mason Graham all off the board. Your edge rushers started with Abdul Carter going to the Giants at number 3. Michael Williams from Georgia going to the Niners at number 11. Jalen Walker.
All right, come on now. Get this pick in. It's already in. Let's go.
15 to the Atlanta Falcons. 1 quarterback, number 1, Cam Ward to the Titans. 1 running back, Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. 1 wide receiver, Tedderall McMillan to the Panthers. And a pair of tight ends. You also talked to Travis Hunter, you call receiver or defensive back, so I'll put him in a separate category. But if you don't call him a true corner, because he's kind of everything, we haven't seen the other defensive backs yet.
Well, Cincinnati's on
That is true. You have not seen any DBs go.
They've stunk at safety and their secondary. They need an edge rusher. They moved Dax Hill, who was supposed to fill in for both.
I say they're going to go defensive back. Bengals.
Left, it didn't work out. So to me, safety's a need. Geno Stone, they brought him over from Baltimore. That was not a good fit. So to me, I think one of the safeties or the corner.
Malachi Starks is here. Emmanuel Wari.
Be awesome.
Yeah, I would like to see them get a what you call it,
Tackle now. So
a DB.
You can't spend all that money on those wideouts and not protect Burrow.
Yeah, I'm a Josh Simmons guy, and I'm willing to wait for him. Everyone loves Zabel.
Man, they're taking forever to announce this pick.
They sure are.
What they do,
by the time they announce this pick, Seattle be done picked already.
They taking their pick back?
And Donovan Jackson had to kick outside.
Yeah, and I would wait for him, honestly, because I think he might be the best tackle when healthy.
Yeah. But defensively, they lost Hubbard, right? So they need an edge.
He retired.
Yeah, but to me, Mike Green's too light. I don't think they'd want to take him from Marshall.
I don't know why Hubbard retired. Hubbard retired because they were going to cut him, and he didn't want to play for another team, so he just retired.
He wasn't that old either.
Yeah, he only he was in the league 7 years, but he just didn't want to go to another team, and they were going to cut him.
Here it is, edge rusher, defense.
Oh, from Texas A&M.
Hey, that's going to help out with Hendricks.
Yeah.
On the other side.
The Cincinnati Bengals select Jamar Stewart, defensive end, Texas A&M.
Let me see if Seattle's got their pick in.
So it is an edge rusher, Jamar Stewart, going to the
See what it says real fast.
out of Texas A&M. We will talk about that coming up in just a little
No, they're starting at 10 o'clock. I mean, 10 minutes still.
Oh, man, that's some BS.
Yeah.
We are get the opportunity here to sit with Ashton Genty.
Wait a minute, this guy sitting next to you is the most.
Because it said for the longest that the pick was in and that they was on the clock, and they ain't running nothing. So really, they don't even have 10 minutes. They really got about 15 to 20 minutes.
Well, it just dropped down to 4 minutes. Went from 9 to 4.
Oh, okay. Because that's about right. The right time it's supposed to be.
6 minutes, yeah.
Congratulations. You've been linked
Well,
to the Raiders for a long time. People have talked about you and Las Vegas.
I wonder if does anybody pull a penalty flag and call delay a game?
What was that like for you tonight?
Man, that was just an amazing moment, and I'm just super duper blessed, and I'm thankful, that they made a decision to draft me, and they won't regret it.
Did you visit with them?
I did visit with them. It was a great visit.
Now, Pete's my best
Bill
friend.
Beans, I'm going to have to cut out.
Tell me about sitting down with him.
Cool beans. I can finish her up here.
All right. Yeah. I was hoping it would go a little bit quicker. I want to see at 21.
Yeah,
There goes there. But, yeah, that'd be another half hour the way they're going.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna be able to make it to 21, but no problem. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna keep it running.
All right, man. Well, you have a good one. Y'all stay safe, and we'll be on the audio during the week next week.
Yeah, we'll do it Monday. I'm gonna do it Monday night.
So yeah, we don't have nothing Saturday night. So this is
because the Twins they have prom, and I was like, nah, there's no way I'm gonna be trying to bounce prom and the show.
So we'll be back on the audio coming in next week. So, well, you have a good night, y'all. That's listening. Good night and a good weekend coming up. And I'll see you tomorrow night, Beans.
Alrighty.
Have a good one.
You take it easy.
As a person, and my loyalty to the people who believe in me.
And how impactful were your parents in that decision?
All right, folks. We're gonna keep along with the what you call it. We're gonna see how long Seattle gonna take on the clock, because in fact, let me look up what they need while you're playing. I think they need a quarterback because they got Aaron Donald. They need somebody to go up under him. Okay, let's see.
When someone tells you, I know you know what you did, but when someone tells you you ran for 20.
Oh, the Knicks beat Detroit tonight to go up 2-1. That's good, and good for me. I'm a New York Knicks fan, so that was good. All right, their pick is in. The offensive line, wide receiver, cornerback, and defensive line. Yeah, I can see they need wide receiver. They got rid of their two starters from last year, so that's probably where it's going to be, a wide receiver. That's where my bet is.
You know what I love when you're just watching you run is when they come to tackle you, you drop your shoulder and you explode off them. Yeah. You almost
Tampa's on the clock. They need linebacker, cornerback, and offensive line. Well, Tampa, that's pretty good. They don't need that much. How many draft picks they got?
To stop you. Did it get to the point where you just said, okay, that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to go run into that guy, and then I'm going to start my run. Because you knew there wasn't much in the way of air. You were looking for contact.
Yeah, I mean, it's that mentality is, me versus, 11. So, they know I'm going to get the ball.
Yeah, we think Sanders is going at 21.
Well, since you met Jason Horowitz, who works for the Raiders as well.
Let's see if he does not go at 21. Who else would need a quarterback?
Yeah, no, I was wrong about that. It was a hoax that was done there. I do not see silver and black Crocs tonight.
Folks, if Sanders don't go at 21, he will not go in this first round.
Well, that's what he said. You were sending out a code message. You were going to the Raiders.
I did, without even knowing it.
Ashton, if you can, sign that for the biggest fan, Noah, right here. Appreciate it. Ashton Jeanty going to the Raiders. Will Campbell's going to join us here in just a second. I see him in the wings. Roger Goodell is coming to the podium. Here's pick 18 in the Seahawks. Ashton, congrats.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Gray Zabel, guard, North Dakota State.
That's good value. Yeah.
All right, so North Dakota State for the first time.
All right, Seattle went with line. They went to protect the. They're gonna go protect Aaron Donald. So
Carson Wentz, but for the first time ever, they have a non-quarterback taken, and he is at 18. Gray Zabel, who made his mark at the Senior Bowl, is going to the Seattle Seahawks. We'll talk about that, as well as Shamar Stewart, who went 17 to the Bengals. The Bucs are on the clock. We'll get into all of that, but joining us here, Will Campbell, LSU.
I cannot believe the Sanders dropped so far.
And now you're going to New England as the 4th overall pick. You've been linked there for a while, and I feel like we're saying that a lot for the top 5, top 8 guys that you've been talked about with mock drafts to spots pretty consistently. But then what does that feel like when you actually get picked by that team?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. The mock drafts and stuff, you try not to pay much attention to it because, so much can happen throughout this process. But to be able to see that, be able to interact, with this staff and, be able to go up there and see what the organization is all about, it's been everything I could have ever asked for. And I'm just super excited to wear that logo.
They must have really struggled with your accent at LSU, not being able to understand you at all right there, right?
Hey, we'll see what happens. I got to get used to the Boston accent.
You got to get used to it.
You'll never get one. You're too far gone to get to that one.
Hey, I'm good with mine.
I know you are.
So we'll see if Tampa gets a linebacker, offensive line, or cornerback. They might go offensive line. I swear this first round has been going offensive lineman pretty good. Let's see. Got a guard, offensive tackle, offensive tackle, offensive tackle, offensive tackle. Yeah, this draft has so far been loaded with linemen.
He's an all-ball, no BS guy, which I love. He loves the guys that he coaches, and he loves New England. So I'm just super excited to get up there and get to work.
I compared it to Matt Light. He played left tackle there for the.
And since it's a long show, once again, I'm going to go ahead and put this number up for the veterans out there who think about harming themselves. You can dial that quick number, 988, hit the number 1, and the operator will come on and get you in contact with the people you need. That Veterans Crisis line is 1-800-273-8255. And once again, 1-800-273-8255. If you notice any change in your battle bunny, they're acting kind of strange, make the call for them. They got a lot of people that's out there unaliving themselves, and gotta look out for your battle buddies.
Well, best of luck, you and Drake.
Now let's see this. See if we can get this 19th pick in. Tampa has made their pick. Denver is on the clock.
New England. We are heading up to Tampa Bay. Pick 19. They have made it. The Broncos now on the clock at pick 20 in a draft in the first round that to this point has had just one trade. We'll step aside. Reaction to Shamar Stewart, Gray Zabel, and whatever the Bucs take coming up on the other side here on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Trump trades, rate cut trades, AI trades. All these trendy trades are hot, but they don't compare to the trades at Stock Market.
Well, we got a commercial on that. Let's see.
With their unique option strategies, winning strategies they put into their newest book. It's not an option. And today, this exciting book can be yours for free.
I'm John Najarian. Don't buy another stock before reading our newest book. And I'm Pete Najarian. When you see the returns you could be making on options versus stocks, you'll realize that in today's market, buying and holding stocks alone It's not an option. After years on TV as the go-to options experts, we wrote our new book with simple, beginner-friendly option strategies that could take your investing returns to a whole new level. And today we'll give you a copy for free.
To see real stock versus option trade examples and get your free copy of John and Pete's new book, It's Not an Option, text NEWS to 80555 and just cover shipping. Text the word NEWS to 80555. Text NEWS to
Denver's needs are running back, wide receiver, cornerback, tight end, defensive line. They got a lot of needs.
A new class of drivers. Titleist GT marks the biggest technological leap ever in Titleist driver design.
I'd like to thank y'all people for coming out and watching the live today. Currently, we got 22 of you on. I thank you for giving us your undivided attention. Making my draft show special. Last year's draft show was horrible. We did one last year. Last year was our first time. It was like, in fact, the live, because last year when we started, we were just doing the radio. And our first live was the draft show, was the NFL draft. And we had no idea what we were doing. It was horrible.
A first rounder next year to move up from 5 to 2. They took Travis Hunter. The Browns move back and select Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham. One quarterback, Cam Ward. We'll get to that here in a second. Abdul Carter.
Yes, one quarterback so far in the first round. Only one. When last year we had first round Caleb Williams. Who else went? J.J. McCarthy also went. Bo Nix. Wait, I don't think Bo Nix was the first round. I think it was Drake May. Those were the three that was first. In fact, I'm going to look that up. I want to know how many quarterbacks went in the first round last year.
At Texas A&M, he went 17 to Cincinnati, and then Gray Zabel, North Dakota State offensive lineman, going 18 to Seattle. We are up to Tampa Bay at pick number 19. The Broncos, the Steelers, the Chargers. Next three up here in the draft. We'll get some reaction to the last couple of picks here in a moment. Let's find out what the Bucs are doing off a 10-7 year. Todd Bowles heading into year number 4. Let's find out as they added a lot on defense in the offseason. See if they go, well, which side of the ball they go. Here's Roger Goodell.
With the 19th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
Jalen Daniels, I forgot about him.
Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State.
So they go offense with the second
Huh.
wide receiver selected in this
Tampa
draft.
went,
It is a record setter out of the Big Ten, Emeka Egbuka. They
wide receiver.
re-signed Chris Godwin here in the offseason.
Oh, that's right. Bo Nix did go in the first round. So did Michael Penix Jr. J.J. McCarthy. Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
You mentioned, think about
4,
all the good receivers that have come out of
5,
Ohio State, especially as of late.
6.
You know, you look at Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr. This guy goes away from there 205 receptions, the most of anyone.
Ohio State record.
Yeah, it's an Ohio State record, and, you know, look at the plays here. He's big play after big play. I see him more of a slot receiver. Godwin's coming off the injury. That's what he's been.
6 quarterbacks last year.
But I think that tells you that.
And we got one so far this year.
Baker Mayfield's giddy about this.
Yeah.
Because this guy is a route runner deluxe. He's got huge hands. He makes all the plays. He got a little overshadowed by the freshman this year, Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
So he didn't get quite the accolade, and they started designing plays for Jeremiah Smith to get down the field. He was more of the guy to move the chains, but he is a big play guy, and obviously the first rounder tells you that the Ohio State wide receiver thing is still fully intact.
To your point about the amount of wide receivers out of Ohio State, he is the 5th Ohio State receiver in the top 25 picks in the last 3 years, last 4 years. Now,
I mean, think about
All right, now Denver, like we said, we need running back, wide receiver, cornerback, tight end, defensive line. But now they may go with something way different because we didn't think Tampa was going receiver, and they did.
Well, we're to an interesting point of the draft here with the conversation that certainly was one of the headlines heading into the night. And that is the lack of trades. And the other part of that conversation is
Sorry about that, folks. I had to plug in my phone.
come off the board. We are here with Denver at 20. They had Bo Nix last year. That's not them. Pittsburgh, you're getting to the point of the Rams are coming up. Matt Stafford, a lot of people thought he was going somewhere else this offseason. He re-signed, reworked his deal, and maybe someone trades back up. But remember, historically, 8 of the last 9 drafts have had at least 3 quarterbacks in the first round. We're into the 20s now, and we've had 1.
Yeah, well.
And if you thought Pittsburgh was going to take your guy, this is where you'd go to trade. And it doesn't look as there's only 3:15 left on the clock for Denver's pick that it is going to happen. So, this is a interesting predicament. We're going to wait and see what the Steelers do. I think Denver here. We've heard.
I think the Steelers
talk about the Joker position.
is going
Play both running back and receiver.
with
This
Shador
could be running
Sanders.
back. Omarion Hampton is your favorite, Jim. Travion Henderson might be figured in here. Speaking about Buckeyes,
Sorry, folks. I was cutting
that.
grass and
He's a tough back.
pollen got my eyes itching.
At least guys that Pat and I interviewed thought he was the toughest back in the Big Ten to face. Guys like that Hunter Wohler from Wisconsin said he was the hardest to tackle, and guys were bouncing off him. And I'm with you because I think Sean Payton wants a workhorse.
Appreciate you folks sticking with me. I was going to cruise it out all the way to this last pick.
Position in the draft. So for me, it's either Omarion Hampton.
We've been currently running for about 2 hours. Last year's show we had to do in 3 1-hour segments because the setup I had, they only gave us up to 1 hour of record time. So we did 3 1-hour segments. It was horrible last year.
Other corners have been taken.
None. Or safeties, for that matter. Right? Nick Emanwari still there. South Carolina.
Yeah, no DBs at all went so far.
Are you surprised Jahdae Barron is still here at pick number 20?
Yes. You asked me to start the show, and he was one of the guys I like for the versatility. Love Starks, love Emanwari, love those. And I even think by now Will Johnson should have been gone.
Yeah. They do have Patrick Surtain coming off another Pro Bowl season. Riley Moss, who was a second-round pick a couple of years ago, played pretty well. Remember, the Broncos last year, third best defense in the NFL, right? 18 points a game, and they led the NFL in sacks. That's the other 63 sacks last year. Bo Nix got all the conversation and credit in the quarterback.
I didn't know that D was that good last year.
Their defense was unbelievable.
Yeah, Vance Joseph, I thought, did a phenomenal job.
One of my old quarterbacks.
Hey, I mean, from when they got embarrassed by Miami 2 years ago, scoring 70 points against them, they have done nothing but gotten better. And Vance, just the attitude, how they get after the quarterback, guys that they've added, I mean, they've been relentless, and then you credit them. They were laser on the quarterback last year with Bo Nix. And
When they lost 70 points to Miami, that was a statement game. A lot of folks don't know that Miami's quarterback, what is his name? McDaniels? Well, anyway, he used to be a towel boy for the Denver Broncos when John Elway was quarterback. And for reasons being, because of the relationship, he thought he was a shoo-in for the Denver Broncos job, head coach's job when it came up. But he didn't get it. And he ended up going to Miami. And it was one of those, okay, you passed on me. I'm going to let you know what you passed on. But, all right, Steelers is on the clock. The pick is in for Denver. Let's see what we got.
Is this a Matthew Golden spot?
Speed. Yeah, can't argue with that either.
I mean, Bo Nix, if there's one thing Bo Nix does really well is throw deep.
Yeah.
He's got a great deep ball.
That's why Sean drafted him. He said when you take away all the bubble screens, they felt he was the most accurate passer down the field.
I did a game with Auburn at Arkansas, and he threw the most beautiful deep post that I've seen in a long time.
Yep. Well, their pick is in. The Steelers are now on the clock. We'll get to that conversation about whether they are going quarterback or not. Certainly their room needs quarterbacks. The Aaron Rodgers conversation at Pittsburgh has been done ad nauseum, and they still have not signed anyone. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about no Aaron Rodgers.
Number 20, as Roger Goodell is heading to the podium with a special guest, from the Make-A-Wish Foundation as well, with the Broncos at pick number 20.
April is World Wish Month, and the NFL is proud to support the life-changing wishes that Make-A-Wish grants. Yes. One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer. There you go, Sam. Raise that fist up, baby. His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on Sam as his wish comes true. Take it away, Sam.
All right, Sam.
Let's go, Broncos. Thank you.
All right. With the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DB, Texas.
Yeah, we go.
All right, first DB.
Your thoughts? You've been discussing this kid for 10 or 11 picks now. He goes to the Denver Broncos in a secondary that includes Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain on one side, him on the other. That might be a good combo.
Sarkisian about. There's his list of 16 draft picks or 17, and I said, can we start with Barron? Because I think everyone else wants to start with Golden or someone else. And he goes, yes, let's do it. And he did not stop listing positions he lined them up at, which after a while you didn't need to hear the rest of it about how talented he was. It was just like, well, here's the things we lined him up at, and that's all you need to know. So
he's a lot like Brian Branch, who Detroit drafted out of Alabama, is what he can do. And Branch is a starter.
All right, Pittsburgh, go Sanders.
He's going to move him around like that, so the guy can do it all.
Can I break some news to Jim? Sure. Big Ten 6, Southeast Conference 9.
we still got a few picks to go here.
By the way, it's more like Michigan and Penn State 6. And the rest of
Ohio
the
State just got
sorry.
Ohio State just gets started.
Michigan, Penn State 5, Ohio State 1, National Champs 1. And by the way, the SEC is like, you're including Texas in that too. Come on.
This is a case, listen.
This is a personal matter.
I know. I'm well aware of your Jim Miller, Pat Kerwin beef here.
I truly believe that they set this draft thinking that they were going to end up with a running back here. But as you just pointed out before the pick, there's no corners that have come off other than
you're bored.
The Hunter.
He and Johnson are staring at you.
And so you say best available, we got to do it. And this guy's a Swiss Army knife.
That's true. Travis Hunter did come off. He was the first one, so it's like.
He's a physical kid.
He is the Jim Thorpe Award winner as the nation's top defensive back and All-American. He led the SEC in passes
All right.
defended.
Steelers got that pick in. All right, Mike Tomlin, you got your pick in.
The college football playoff, and you go to the Denver Broncos, who were already.
Let's see where you pick. Because if Sanders don't go now, Sanders is not going in this first round.
Certainly the conversation about quarterback is there. Tyler Booker, good enough to join us here and sit down. He was picked number 12.
How about them Cowboys?
T-Book is Kalen DeBoer, your coach this past year, was with us earlier, and he was so excited for you guys, and you heard your name in Dallas. Again, you were all excited about it. Your first take when you heard it tonight.
Man, I couldn't believe it, but I could, but it's just truly a blessing to be a part of such a storied program, such a great program, and like guys playing for me is different than anyone else's. Like I feel like he has a really special plan for me. For him to send me to Bergen Catholic, to IMG, to Alabama, now to the Dallas Cowboys, so many national and worldwide known brands that I've been a part of now. So it's just a bigger platform for me to continue to spread his word and continue to be the man he is destined for me to be.
All right, you got to tell us what Jerry said to you.
It got loud towards the end.
You were from him.
From everybody. You know, he's got that southern drawl, so it was hard to understand. I was just like, yes, sir, I'm glad to be a Cowboy. Excited to be a Cowboy.
Yeah, and he gets all excited about it too now.
Oh, yeah. I'm super excited to get with him tomorrow.
Well, you're already donning the star with the hat, and they draft a lot of star, and they've had star offensive linemen.
Yeah.
You know, maybe just talk about that rich history of offensive linemen, and, you know, you're going to be a next line of part of that.
Tyler, before you said we get to the podium for every pick, and we'll come right back to you here as well. We do this all first round. Roger Goodell is stepping to the podium It's the Steelers here at pick number 21. We'll find out who they're taking, and then we'll come back. Tyler Booker with us here, the newest Dallas Cowboy. Here's Roger Goodell.
Oh my God.
With the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
Defensive tackle.
Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon.
So it is not a quarterback. We are adding on to that Jim Miller Big Ten total.
Oh no. Sanders will not go first round.
Do in a moment, but we're sitting here with Tyler Booker. Jimmy, we're asking, go ahead.
Just talk about the tradition. I mean, Dallas has drafted offensive linemen really well, and you're the next wave of a great offensive lineman. Maybe just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, it's truly a blessing to be a part of such a great fraternity of awesome Dallas Cowboys offensive linemen, and I know I have a lot of work to do in order to be considered as the next great one, but I'm looking forward to
Gotta tell James. I'm texting him now.
and giving my all to be considered one of those Dallas Cowboy greats, and that's at the forefront of my mind right now. It's just truly a blessing to be a part of something so great, just going.
I just cannot believe it. Oh my gosh.
I was just going to say, you just mentioned Bergen Catholic, which has a reputation.
Just like I was saying earlier, Sanders must have really blown it at that combine. I didn't watch the combine, but they were talking about he was going to go number 1 for like the longest until after the combine. Then they said he was going to drop. They thought he would at least go in about 5. Wow. He is not going to go in this first round.
Dedication and me trusting my parents and trusting in God. Like they always told me, like, Tyler, like, trust us, we got you. And I just want to say thank you to them because I wouldn't be where I am without them. So just really taking their guidance and just taking it day by day, step by step, and trusting in them and trusting in God.
You're going to be on TV a lot, too.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
I know you do.
Because they don't get any attention in Alabama. They're never on TV in Alabama.
Look at this handsome guy. I mean, holy smokes, you're going to be getting commercials. I mean, all these Cowboys.
Getting down to the last 10 picks, folks. Last 10 picks.
So that's what I'm focused on.
It's an excellent point. It's an excellent point. Did they have you a position? What did they tell you want to start? Where they want to start you?
Right guard. I'm excited to be a Cowboy. That's all I always say. I'm excited to be a Cowboy. That's why I'm just yelling.
Today has been an eventful day for me. Like I said, I cut grass and pollen got my eyes itching. While I was out there cutting grass, I almost cut the splits out there and I pulled. My leg was kind of tight and I said, oh no. I don't feel like at my job I do a lot of walking. I say I don't feel like doing all this walking. I'll just be sitting today. I called in.
And even if not Shedeur Sanders, the reality is they need a quarterback. Mason Rudolph is like at the moment the leader in the clubhouse to be the starter for the Steelers, and they absolutely need to address that room. They do not have a second.
It saved me from having to do my half a day that I was planning on doing.
A defensive tackle instead. What do you make about what the Steelers just did?
I believe Omar Khan said that they only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster, and they will add 2. They will add 2. They just don't add 1 here. Pat and I think during our mock drafts, we've had Harmon going there twice to the Steelers because Cam Hayward can't play forever. How many callers do we have saying, hey, we were
35 years old.
Yeah, we were
best
tired.
Defensive lineman is 35.
And Ogunjobi's gone.
Yeah, they just lost.
Yep, ESPN just texted what I was talking about. So, talking about Sanders still on the board and 22 pick is up. But these last 10 teams that's got to pick, they don't need quarterbacks.
But I think he's their best bet because their bigger need, I do think, is the defensive tackle. Their defense has been un-Steeler-like with their inability to stop the run.
You know the tough part for Shedeur? The rest of the draft, the teams that played well, because they all have quarterbacks. And it's getting harder, not easier for him.
Well, and at the bottom of this first round, the only teams you look at and you say, okay, you don't really know, not that you don't know who their guy is today, but you don't know the Rams, because Matthew Stafford has been up there in age, right? He's been in this league for 15 years.
Sanders looks like he's going to be a second-round pick.
Have to make a plan sooner rather than later. The Vikings know where they're going because J.J. McCarthy was their first-round pick last year. You just don't know what he's going to be because he hasn't been on the field.
But they won't draft another one.
No, of course not.
Yeah, they're not going to draft another quarterback.
They should be moving down, those guys. But it got tougher. Once we got through the halfway mark, the teams just keep getting better, and it's getting harder for Shedeur. It doesn't mean he's a bad player.
Yeah.
The few guys up top that had the choice made a different decision.
But back to Pittsburgh here for a second, Rick Neuheisel. Again, Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and that is it. The other part to this is their backfield. Najee Harris is now on the team that's making a pick. He's on the Chargers. They did bring in Kenneth Gainwell from the Eagles, and they do have Jalen Warren. But you think of Pittsburgh, you think of Franco Harris, Jerome Bettis. You think of those type of guys, and they don't have that guy. And they'll have to wait to the third round, at least as of right now, to get that guy too.
There may be a complete renaissance feeling for the running backs in the NFL, given what Saquon got accomplished today. Aaron Jones, the kid at Green Bay, right?
Josh
Jacobs. There could be a renaissance, but there's still a plethora of backs, and this is a good draft class for running backs. So if you're waiting, and then you said the Steelers have a pick in the third round,
right?
If you're waiting for that, perhaps you could do that. And this is also where you jumped in, Pat, and said there's going to be some trades between the 20 hours when this thing ends and tomorrow. So they might get themselves in with somebody on their roster to get into the second round.
Yeah. There's already Jets are saying Breece Hall is available. Jim Nagy told us, too, when we were down at the Senior Bowl, all 10 of those backs are going to get drafted. There's still guys.
I don't know what Jim Harbaugh is doing. Maybe he will go tight end. Tight end or wide receiver, I can see. He also needs a running back. But like I was telling James, I say you shop your running backs in rounds 2 through 4.
It is a team that made the playoffs in Jim Harbaugh's first year. They did add Najee Harris, who we just mentioned. They brought in
Ooh, they got Najee Harris, so
to try and help an offensive line. That was pretty good to begin with.
This is going to be an
we'll scratch running back.
all about Will Johnson. Yeah. I mean,
Tight end.
Gonna know Will Johnson better than
What
Jim
else
Harbaugh.
I say? Tight end, wide receiver.
He gets past this spot. There's needs because right now their wide receiver position is, when Ladd McConkey's your leader, Matthew Golden would be a nice compliment. But Will Johnson being a Michigan man, this is going to be an interesting deal here.
And I think that's an excellent point with an exclamation point because
And Green Bay goes offensive line.
defensive staff, Jesse Minter and company, went with
It's
him
just
with the Chargers.
that's the theme this year, folks. Offensive line. I bet you Green Bay go offensive line.
Green Bay, the Chargers have 1 minute left on the clock. If you are
So
counting
will the
trades in the
Vikes
first round, again,
and the
they've had one.
Texans.
It was early. It was spicy. And it's held us over for 20 picks. And that was Cleveland moving back from 2 to 5.
How many drafts have you done?
With you?
Yes.
This is number 13.
Okay. It's 9:30. Has it ever been that early?
It's 9:30 Central Time.
Yeah.
10:30 Eastern Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look where we
Hot
are.
dang, the next 7 picks all need offensive linemen.
I'll take full responsibility.
We got the next 7 picks: Green Bay, the Vikings, the Texans, the Rams, the Ravens, the Lions.
Jason, as a host, we call this stretching, right? You got to stretch it out, right?
That's right. That is right.
We go all the way to Washington, and they don't need a lineman.
Puzzled by my own answer because I don't have one. Omari
Oh,
Hampton,
I take that back. Washington also needs a lineman. Buffalo is the one that doesn't need the lineman.
say maybe Buffalo doesn't want to deal with James Cook's numbers.
Yeah.
Where else do you see
Would Cleveland trade up into
The
one?
Commanders might be in the mood for a good running back.
You know, that name is going to be on a board. It's going to be pretty high up when we get down to the bottom of this thing. We know he's not going
Come on,
to
Green Bay, make this pick.
Philadelphia. Detroit's loaded.
Oh, Green Bay is now on the clock. San Diego has made their pick. Their pick is in.
I mean, look, the Rams hit it out of the park with the kid from Notre Dame a couple of years ago. He carries the ball a lot. He's getting Kyron Williams is getting 80% of their carry.
Yeah, he's a good north and south runner.
But my point, at some point, you're like, we've got to give somebody else the football too.
Yeah. Well, hey, Chargers definitely, I think, are a team that could add it. I think Pat brings up a good point. They're not going to pay James Cook. I personally don't think they're going to pay him. He had 16 touchdowns last year. I mean, but that could be a leverage piece where they draft a running back, or you say one of those teams early. You brought up Cleveland. Could they?
Is James Cook's rookie contract almost over?
Get the 5th-year option. because they do need one with Loose and Chubb.
Pick is in. Chargers pick. They used all 10 minutes of it. Packers are now on the clock. So the folks here that have made their way to Lambeau, all 125,000 that were announced earlier, are waiting for this one, and they've been waiting to the night. So we will see what Green Bay is going to do.
Oh yeah, you're in Green Bay too? Don't do nothing dumb. You on the clock. Don't do nothing dumb in your own hometown.
Obviously, no one knows this guy. He's been hurt, so they're going to have a good feeling about his personality, what he's capable of.
Oh my
A lot
goodness.
of the evaluations this year have gone up.
Oh, Marion Hampton.
When Jim Harbaugh was the head coach, and they won the national championship. Let's find out. Here's Roger Goodell.
With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina.
So it is the running back. They signed Najee Harris, and now they bring in Omarion Hampton, two-time All-American out of North Carolina, a big 5'11", almost 6 foot, 221-pound back, explosive, all kinds of yards. Pat, your thoughts on the North Carolina Tar Heel going to the Chargers?
That might be what they need. Because Najee Harris, his time in Pittsburgh was not too good. Now, if I remember right, Najee Harris came out of Penn State.
If you said Najee got a 2-year deal, I would not have done this. But on a 1-year deal, I'm doing it.
And it's not just Dobbins that they lost. They flat out released Gus Edwards too. So they lost 2 backs, and they added 2 backs, and I think, as Pat mentioned, and again, Jim Harbaugh, they're running the ball, man. And this guy's got over 3,100 yards and 30 touchdowns the last 2 years at North Carolina. I think he had like a 6-yard average.
2,033 all-purpose yards this past year to set a North Carolina single-season record. We are up to the Packers. The crowd here has been waiting for this. We'll hear it coming up on the other side here in Green Bay at the 225.
Yeah, come on, Pack. They don't want you to do nothing stupid. Me being a Dallas fan, I would love for you to do something
We were
stupid.
in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford
So you need a cornerback, receiver, defensive line, offensive line.
I know it's been on our list, but isn't getting life insurance?
Now you got to think. Jordan Love did get hurt last year. He did miss some games last year. You might want to solidify that line. Like I said, the next 7 teams, all the way up to till we get down to Buffalo, they all need linemen.
The whole thing's so easy and clear.
10 minutes with no medical exam? Ethos, here we come.
Will all 7 draft linemen? No.
Protect your loved
You know
ones
they
today
won't.
with Ethos. Life insurance made easy. Visit ethos.com/fan to apply today. That's
What you got? Green Bay is on the clock, and then after them it's Minnesota. Minnesota, you definitely need to get a lineman. The way Detroit did y'all in the playoffs. Well, Detroit did y'all the last game, and then I forgot who followed you in the playoffs, and they beat you using Detroit's game plan. They were getting at Donald. They was getting him. You might want to invest in that line. I hope these companies love how they double paid for these commercials. Well, you didn't double pay. You paid, what is the channel this is on? ABC, you paid them, and then it's broadcasting over here on I'm actually on DB Connect, Daily Brew Connection, but we are running Vets Plus Sports off of Daily Brew Connection. But we are not monetized, so they are getting free advertisement here.
To hear non-stop expert NFL analysis from former players, coaches, and front office executives, tune in to SiriusXM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
I do appreciate you people giving us your time to listen to my commentary.
Award-winning language learning app with over 16 million subscriptions sold? Well, we thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. She's an artist and absolutely a visual learner. She's doing a deep dive into our Babbel wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is very much
By the time these commercials is over, I would think Green Bay's pick would be in and Minnesota would be on the clock. I don't know how many linemen they have to look through on this in this draft, but hopefully they get them a lineman.
Estamos prontos.
Wherever you are, however you learn, Babbel is the best choice.
Like I said, we setting the theme.
Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com.
Let's go lineman.
That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
We planned our investments well for retirement, but I wish we had more cash.
Don't they know they're sitting on a gold mine?
Nope, they don't know that if you want a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, you may be able to sell all or part of it.
If Sanders is to go anytime in this first round, which I don't think, I think he's going to be a second round pick. But if he goes anywhere in the first round, Detroit at the 28th pick may get Sanders. I'm going with that as by what you call it, because Jared Goff is getting, man, he's getting old. He's a little bit younger than Matthew Stafford, who's still playing for the Rams. But so far he has not been able to get. He's been better for Detroit, but he still hasn't got them to the promised land.
Going number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. In fact, by name and spot in the draft, nothing really shocking in the first 7 picks, with the exception of the Jaguars trading from 5 to 2 to take the guy that everybody thought would go to in Travis Hunter. It went Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, just like most have picked for a long time. Will Campbell to New England, like a lot have picked. Mason Graham went 5, not to Jacksonville like a lot thought, but he goes to Cleveland. And then the Raiders taking Ashton Genty. We are here at 23. Jim Miller, anything stand out to you as either a trend, a surprise, anything where you are?
Yeah, I don't think there's any surprises. I just think, you know, with how the players have fallen, obviously quarterback's been the big story. Again, I go with need. I think a lot of these are need picks that the teams are taking here. And that's why I think for Green Bay right now, we stuck out the 2 needs is probably secondary. And you'd say receiver. Is this where a receiver goes? Because they have been in discussions. Supposedly, they were trying to work out a trade for DK Metcalf.
Ooh, that is also. Green Bay has a history of not drafting receivers in the first round. The whole time Aaron Rodgers was there, they never did give him anybody from the first round that he could throw to.
This is a receiver. It goes to 13 to 10.
Will they do it for Jordan Love? Give him a first round receiver?
Because the Green Bay Packers have the longest.
Green Bay got their pick in.
Taking a wide receiver in the first round. They have not taken a first round receiver since Javon Walker in 2002.
2002 was the last time they took a first round receiver. 23 years.
That's right. Javon Walker's their last.
And he's kind of been kind of a dud for them. He's been hurt a lot, and they've been wanting to address receivers. So maybe it's a receiver here, and you got Matthew Golden, you got Burton.
The Packers have had success drafting defenders from Georgia.
Yeah.
Stokes was a pretty good player for them. They got the linebacker from Georgia.
Walker.
Walker, I think this could be Malachi Starks.
Yeah, I don't argue that bit because Jair's kicked in at nickel, and Starks could do that. He could be their nickel if they need it. He can do a lot of things. And they drafted Micah Hyde, who before he left to go to Buffalo, he did everything for him too.
There we go to the podium. The Packers just outside of Lambeau Field.
Someone might take Higgins before the receiver, before this round's over.
Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. It is Roger Goodell, and he is walking up there with Mark Murphy. Let's go to the podium.
Okay, Green Bay, it's your time. To make this historic pick, please give it up for first team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and Packers president and CEO, Mark Murphy.
Thank you. Thank you, Roger. How about this atmosphere? Isn't it unbelievable? Roger, thank you in the NFL. for bringing the draft here to Green Bay for the best draft in the history of the NFL. Right here. On behalf of the Packers, Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL Draft at Lambeau Field. It is our honor and privilege to host this wonderful event in our community, particularly since we are the only community-owned team in the NFL.
That is true. The city of Green Bay owned the Green Bay Packers.
How many of you are owners? Yes.
Yeah, everybody that lives in the city are owners.
In the NFL. And we also want to celebrate the special connection we have with our fans that dates back to the early days of professional football. With the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2002,
They went receiver.
the wide receiver,
Matthew Golden out of Texas.
Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas.
Well, he's going to get the same treatment that Terrion Arnold got last year when he went out to the stage. Matthew is here, taking pictures with all of his family in the green room. He's 5'11", he's 191. He had his first 2 years in Houston before transferring to Texas. And the last 4 games of the season, which is the SEC Championship and the 3 playoff games in the playoffs, 103 yards a game on the year. Rick Neuheisel for Texas and Steve Sarkisian, whether it was Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning, 17 yards a catch, and he's coming here to Lambeau Field.
4th and 13, backs against the wall against Arizona State. Got to make a play. It was Matthew Golden that they went to. This is one of the reasons you like the ability to transfer, to get on a stage like he got on there at Texas and play in those kind of games and show what kind of talent he has. And obviously, you put the clock on him. He's the fastest receiver in the draft. So
4.29 is what, and Stark talked about him too. This guy
4.29.
is a playmaker.
He got Xavier Worthy speed.
I had this discussion during the week. I think Green Bay develops their wide receivers tremendously. I mean, you look at over the year, Donald Driver, Javon Walker. You mentioned all the guys, even Jaden Reed. Look at Reed, how he's made plays. I mean, yeah, Dobbs. I mean, and this guy is going to help them out because, like I said, Christian Watson really, he's been their failure. He's been their lone failure right now, and they've been talking with teams to trade for wide receiver. Here they address it in the draft.
And he's made some plays. I mean, he has. I mean, it's not a. Who was the guy for the Bears? They're taking the top to Kevin out of West Virginia, Kevin White. It wasn't like, it hasn't been like Watson has made some big time plays in the last couple of, but to your point, the injury, he had drops early in his career, things like that. But Matthew Golden's got his name on the back of a Packers jersey right on that stage. And you know, it has been a long time coming. Packers fans, when Aaron Rodgers was here, they've been screaming that, hey, we want a receiver, we want a receiver.
Aaron Rodgers is saying right now, because now we're going to draft a wide receiver.
Minnesota's pick is in. Houston is now on the clock. Matthew Golden is at the podium. He's about to address the fans here. I will take this up. Why not? It's got to listen. Now Matthew Golden's like, he wanted to address the podium.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
His 10-yard split, I think, was the fastest of all the wide receivers, too, with what he posted.
Hey, I'm finna bring that energy, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
You know what? It was worth the wait. He's going to a good team.
It's like, is this mic on? Is this mic on? Oh, it's ready. Minnesota's pick is in. The Texans are on the clock. So now we're starting. So we had Tetairoa McMillan go 8 to Carolina. A little bit of a wait. Remember, last year there were 7 wide receivers taken in the first round. We will put Travis Hunter in a separate category. The expectation is an athlete both, but 3 receivers that have gone now, with Emeka Ibuka going to the Bucs at 19, and now Matthew Golden here to the Packers. at 23.
All right, the Vikings got their pick in, and we got the Texans on the clock. Like I said, these next 7 need linemen. Let's see
Out of Texas A&M, good enough to join us.
what the Vikings did.
We asked Will Campbell earlier because he was wearing a green suit. Was this with Green Bay in mind? You were decked out. I mean, this is like green from the Wizard of Oz.
You know what? It's crazy. I actually got this color from a car.
From a car?
A car.
Like you were driving a emerald green car?
Me walking down the street like, oh my God, look at that car. So I was like, and then it matched the jury, so I was like, I gotta go get it.
Okay.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
I like it.
When the Bengals picked you at 17, again, a lot of different predictions for where you could have gone as this has played out. What was that phone call like? What was that emotion like for you?
Man, I was just relieved, man. I was excited and relieved. I'm on a good team. I'm around good players I can learn from. You know.
Well, people, I think we're probably getting down towards the final hour.
When you thought I might be a pro football player someday?
Going into my sophomore year of high school.
You started to realize maybe I am that good.
Yeah. And when I got the #1 overall player in the country, that sophomore year.
Yeah. So the numbers say that you are just a superhuman athlete, right? The numbers, you weigh over 260 pounds, you ran sub 4.6, you jump out of the gym. I mean, it's a special gift you've been given. And now people wonder why that doesn't come to the production. What's your answer? Because you had to have been asked this question when you were at the Combine.
Of course, I mean, when you really look at it, we had Nick Scoring, Shamar Turner, Albert Regis, Cassius Howe, and the list goes on and on and on. We had the best D-line in the SEC last year. So we tried to get everybody on the field. Sometimes I go down inside I went to play from a 0 to a 9, and then people were just mainly sliding to me, if anything. And then when I do get there, people are strong in the SEC too. I'm not just the only strong player in the SEC.
Shamar, hold that for 1 second. We go back to the podium for Minnesota.
Okay, here it is. The pick is in.
In the 2025 NFL Draft,
They went live.
the Minnesota Vikings select Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State.
So the 6th offensive lineman now off the board. We'll get to Donovan Jackson going to Minnesota in a sec. Shamar, finish what you were just talking about. Hey, people are strong in the SEC.
Yeah.
That's what you were saying.
Come on now. Missed plays are bound to happen. And I feel like people just don't see that. But at that same point, I had the most pressures on the team, so it's not like I couldn't get there.
Right.
There's just some minor technical difficulties.
So it's nothing that you're concerned with. You just can't wait to get to prove yourself.
Nothing I'm concerned with. I'm just happy. I can't wait to prove everybody.
And you hope like heck they signed Trey Hendrickson.
Well, Minnesota went with a guard. Like I said, they needed offensive line. Let's see if Texas follows suit.
You smell what I'm cooking.
You look at the Bengals, they were averaging over 30 points a game, like the last 9 games of the year. And we've had Bengals fans call into the show just like, hey, if we just get our defense up to snuff, I mean, we're going to be fine. They feel that they're bound to a Super Bowl. How do you look at the Bengals as an with Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? They get done.
I think so too. I feel like they're always this close.
Yeah.
They're always this close. I just feel like they just needed somebody to get them a little bit over the hump.
You take a 30 visit there?
Funny story. I actually had no communication with them.
They laying low on that one.
I didn't talk to them on the phone. I didn't do a 30 visit. I don't remember meeting with them at the Combine.
So when the phone rang, you hadn't seen that area code before. What were you thinking?
I looked up because I had my eyes closed. I was just sitting in a chair with my eyes closed, looking up to the ceiling. I felt the phone ring. I looked at it. I'm like, huh. I looked at the TV screen. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. So,
I do. Congratulations. You're going to buy that car that matches that suit?
Oh yeah, it's not expensive. The paint job might be expensive.
Shamar, best of luck to you in Cincinnati.
Thanks.
Shamar Stewart going from Texas A&M to the Cincinnati Bengals. Teteroa McMillan's going to join us here in a moment. He went number 8 to Carolina. Trade to bring up, guys. So Minnesota takes Donovan Jackson at 24. 6 offensive linemen now off the board. We do have a team jumping
trade
to the first round. It is the New York Giants. Now on the clock here at pick number 25. They give up what was going to be their second round pick. So they give up a 3rd round pick this year and a third-round pick next year to move up back into the first round, which I think at the moment most would presume to be a quarterback. We'll get back to that in a second. We're joined by Ted
Sanders.
He's putting the headset on. 8th overall pick to Carolina, one of the highest picks ever out of Arizona. Tetaroa, congratulations on what has got to be an awesome night for you going to Carolina, number 8.
You know what? I appreciate it, man. I'm super blessed, and I'm grateful to be here, man.
What was your thought? I mean, a lot of you've been predicted to a lot of different teams, but when it was Carolina, what was your thought there?
You know what? To be
Texans
honest,
made the trade.
it's all right. You know,
The
Bryce is
Giants,
someone
their
that
pick
I've
is in.
always looked up to.
They were talking about
I've
getting
always admired,
Sanders
you know, his game
at
and
25,
his
though.
character, and you know, being able to be fortunate enough to be on his team and eventually, you know, catch passes from him and a bunch of touchdowns, hopefully.
How many times did you talk? Because it's funny, we were just talking to Shamar Stewart, and he said Bengals never called him. They never visited with him. He never talked to him at all, and he gets selected by. How about for you? How much communication do you have with Carolina?
Shoot, to be honest with you, I feel like I had a lot of communication with Carolina. You know, I obviously did a 30 visit, did a few Zooms, and I feel like it all went well, and I always got a good vibe from them, get good energy, and so, like I said, it just feels right.
Mm-hmm. Have you had a chance to talk to Bryce? Has he been on the phone with you since you got selected?
No. I've been on this little media car wash, so I don't got no time to make no phone calls.
So the Texans will do their shopping for their line in the second, and
I appreciate it.
because they acquired the 34th pick, they also got the 99th pick and a pick in 2026 from the Giants. 3 picks they got from the Giants. This better be Sanders. You gave up all that for something. This better be Sanders.
You know, obviously they have a seasoned vet in Adam Thielen. Hopefully, you know, he can take me under his wing, and any wisdom and knowledge he can pass down to me, you know, I'm all ears. And I'm gonna be open-minded about the whole situation. Obviously, you know, I want to create a relationship with Bryce, and at the end of the day, he's gonna be the guy that dictates how my career goes. So, just really being able to just build a relationship with everybody in facility. Obviously, you know.
Well, you have the personality to do it.
And back-to-back first-round wide receivers, you and Xavier Legette last year. Best of luck, Tetaroa. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Newest member of the Carolina Panthers. All right, here's the details of the trade. The Texans were at 25. The Giants have moved back into the first round. They give the Texans pick number 99, so a third-round pick this year, as well as a third-round pick next year, and obviously they moved back to where the Giants were supposed to pick next in the second round. Obviously, this feels quarterback.
Yeah.
The question is, Pat Kerwin, which quarterback for the New York Giants?
But Dart, did you hear that head coach talk about Dart?
I forgot about Dart.
He loved him.
That's exactly right. I think it's going to be the kid out of Ole Miss, Jackson Dart.
Our third mock draft, we had the Giants trade first round to draft Jackson Dart. So we'll see. I'm with you guys. I think, you know, and they could still trade away Jameis Winston if they need to.
Yes,
they could trade him away.
And this is where Jackson Dart belonged being picked, somewhere in the 20s, right? If in fact you believe that he's a quarterback that could ascend to being your franchise guy, this is where you should expend your capital. And so they did the right thing, taking Abdul Carter, who's proven he's that kind of bona fide player. We'll see what transcends with the trade and what materializes for Houston with the picks that they're getting from the Giants. But you got to take a swing, and Joe Shane and Brian Dable certainly have to take a swing.
And it feels less risky at 25.
That's right.
Which giving up a third rounder this year to do. And if you're those guys, you're not worried about next year's third round. Because if you don't win this year, you're not going to be making those picks next year. Here's Roger Goodell.
Jackson Dart.
If it's not, we'll all be shocked. Yeah. Here's Roger Goodell.
The Houston Texans have traded the 25th pick to the New York Giants. With the 25th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Jackson Dart, quarterback.
I might be okay with this booing. I'm hopefully Jackson Dart does not turn out to be another, what was his name? Daniels. Can't think of Daniels' first name.
617 yards He led all of college football this past year with 10 points.
Oh, the Falcons have traded up.
Touchdown interception ratio, Rick Neuheisel at Ole Miss this year, 29 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and Jackson Dart is now a first-round pick to the New York Giants.
The only knock on Jackson Dart's performance at Ole Miss is that he had chances in 2 games to bring the team down in the fourth quarter and win a game against Kentucky, who won 1 game in the SEC, and then against Florida, which would have sealed a college football playoff berth, and he didn't get it done. When you're talking your magic quarterbacks and the guys who are going to get the gold jackets, they find ways to win in the fourth quarter more often than not. That's the only knock on him. Go ahead, Pat.
It sounds like what the Giants front office do.
Interesting where the Giants came in to get him. Ahead of the Rams.
Well, it's funny you say that, and I don't think you knew this yet, but the Rams traded out after this pick was in. Now, again, we all hear these picks together, but the teams in their respective war rooms get it from the NFL because their 10-minute starts as soon as the pick is in. So we didn't hear this for 4 minutes, but the Rams knew that the Giants were picking Jackson Dart, and they have made a trade with the Falcons. So it is Atlanta here on 26. I do not have the details of that trade just yet. I will get it in a second. But this was supposed to be the Rams, and to your point, Pat, they know it's Jackson Dart. If they wanted Shedeur Sanders, no problem. Clearly, the idea here is you're thinking the Rams were going to take Jackson Dart as well.
And that's one of the things we thought was going to happen. And they couldn't afford to wait for that Ram pick. So to get Houston to do business with him was important.
Here's what I like about Jackson Dart to the Giants. All the things that Rick said are true. Those 2 games, but the Georgia game, he was awesome when they got the win. This guy...
What did the Falcons give up? Because they only had 5 picks.
Paul from Arkansas.
He recruited all those guys.
He got all those guys to come to Ole Miss. And every player told us, like, no, it was Jackson Dart. And that's kind of what's been missing for the Giants. Well, the quarterback hasn't been unifying everybody.
I will give you what this makes me more confident that they're not firing the coach and the GM.
Yeah.
To move back in to get the quarterback that the head coach clearly said he wanted tells me that they're going to ride with these guys for a while.
Yeah. I like how he manages a game at the position, too. Just third down.
Ooh, people, we in that final round.
He's aware. He knows what's going on. Great.
Rams get the 46th pick, the 242nd pick, and something else.
I just first time I ever saw him play, he came off the bench. There was an injury at SC with that Keaton Slovis, and he came off the bench to play his first time. It was up in Pullman against Washington State. He threw for over 300 yards in the game. Yeah. It was a free-for-all. It was clear he wasn't aware of what was going on in the offense. But you talk about a guy running out there and making plays. Yeah. It was sensational football. Yeah.
So Falcons made the trade. Baltimore is on the clock. So we see what Baltimore do. Baltimore need linemen. Baltimore need linemen for the offense and the defense and cornerback.
2 of those were in the 7th round. So they didn't have a lot of capital and they didn't have a lot of high capital. They took Jalen Walker to move up from 46 to 26. They obviously give up pick 46 to the Rams. They also gave up a 7th rounder and next year's first rounder.
Yeah, I knew it had to be next year's pick. They don't have enough firepower to do it without.
So they have given up next year's first round. Pat, what stares out? We're going to get Roger Goodell on
Edge from Tennessee.
What are you looking at for Atlanta? Jalen Walker already? Is this defense too? Is this Will Johnson?
Well, they can never stop taking enough defense in my mind.
What about Campbell?
Jihad Campbell,
James Pierce Jr.
This is their first round pick next year.
Los Angeles Rams have traded the 26th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. With the 26th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select James Pierce Jr., defensive end, Tennessee.
Well, they can never get after the quarterback enough because they've not been able to do it, Pat, for almost 6 years. They took Jalen Walker earlier, certainly off the edge, but a lot of other places, and they go with Tennessee's defensive edge rusher and James Pierce here.
He's a remarkable athlete. He had some issues. People wondered about him a little bit off the field, but it was so early on, it was really nothing. Everyone got over it, but he's very talented, and he's got measurables and all the trait stuff you're looking for. Interestingly enough, there are still some good names, but we're getting out of, I'm almost out of first rounders. I got like 4 left, so it's fun to see where it's going. Who did he go ahead of? That's the thing that intrigues me.
Mike Green's still there.
Mike Green.
Last 6 picks of the night, people. Last 6 picks. Baltimore is on the clock, and the Lions will be coming in after that. Will the Lions trade, or will Baltimore be the one trading?
I took him into mock Jeff. Jim goes, "Oh, you like that guy?"
Yeah.
I think I took him every time.
Well, two-time first team All SEC.
Can Dallas trade to get anywhere in these next 6 picks?
Over the last 2 years, 38 tackles, 13 and a half of them behind the line, and 7.5 sacks.
Last 6 picks, we got Baltimore, Detroit Lions, Washington Commanders, Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Will they keep their first round, or will they trade it off?
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-260-8184. That's 800-260-8184. 800-260-8184.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. As with any dietary supplement, consult your healthcare provider before use, especially if you're pregnant, nursing, or taking medication on a regular basis.
If you're on a GLP-1 like Ozempic or Mounjaro and trying to lose fat without losing muscle, you'll want to hear this because Dr. Dermalani, a board-certified gastroenterologist, has some great news for you.
I'm seeing many GLP-1 patients struggling with vitamin deficiencies, constipation, and most of all, muscle wasting. And managing these side effects is critical. That's why I recommend a product like Replenza that has essential amino acids to help prevent muscle loss and support muscle tone. Plus, it has prebiotics for digestive health and collagen for skin elasticity. Listen, weight loss is difficult. It's hard, but the combination of GLP-1 meds and Replenza can make this so much easier for you.
If you're on a GLP-1, Replenza can help you keep the muscle while you lose the fat. Get Replenza at CVS, Rite Aid, and Publix, at the pharmacy counter.
Keep your car running smoothly with Meineke. From brakes to tires, engines, oil, and AC. Trust your keys with Meineke. Doing car care right.
To hear non-stop expert NFL analysis from former players, coaches, and front office executives, tune in to SiriusXM NFL Radio, Channel 88.
Spring into deals and save on seasonal projects at Lowe's. Right now, get 4 select 8-pack annuals for just $10. Plus, get a free 60-volt Toro battery when you purchase a select 60-volt Toro electric mower. Don't miss out on these fresh spring savings. Shop in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help.
All right, we're waiting for them commercial breaks to be over so we can get back to the show.
Selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Live from Green Bay, this is the 2020
All right, they're
NFL
back.
Draft. Here's Pat Kerwin, Rick Neuheisel, Jim Miller, and Jason Horowitz.
Ravens pick is in at 27. Lions are on the clock at 28, followed by Jaden Daniels in Washington. Then we get to the final three with Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philadelphia. So we talked about Jackson Dart. If you're just joining us, the Giants traded back into the first round to select Jackson Dart. Houston, by the way, has made a ton of trades today. Earlier with 5th and 7th round picks with Cleveland, they picked up some extra picks, and then getting from the Giants as well, so they're getting capital. Atlanta trading up to take James Pierce. We didn't get a chance to talk about Donovan Jackson, the offensive lineman from Ohio State, Minnesota Vikings at pick 24, Jim Miller.
Yeah, for Minnesota, and I thought Pat just made a good
Yeah,
point.
Minnesota doing what they needed to do. They know
I wonder if they could have traded down.
they knew they needed a lineman. They got them a lineman.
Pat and I talked to this kid. Won his agility drills at the
The other
combine.
two
Were really
teams
good.
traded off.
Was a guard. He is kicked out to tackle. He practiced even snapping at the center position. So this guy's a willing worker. He's strong in the weight room as well. When Pat and I talked to him, his power clean, I think, was 350 when we talked to him, Pat. So Minnesota got pushed around in their late season games on the interior.
Yeah.
They went out, they signed a couple guys in free agency. Now they want to address it a little bit more.
Here's Baltimore. And
How about Malachi Starks?
Alrighty, Baltimore has picked.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Malachi Starks, defensive back, Georgia.
Pat Kerwin,
Okay,
you ask,
DB.
you shall receive. Malachi Starks, who stepped on the field as a freshman, never came off the field, and he goes to the Baltimore Ravens to join Kyle Hamilton in their safety room.
Well, first off, you don't need a genius. We're
They
so
need a
far down
DB.
the draft, we thought this guy was going way higher than this. But anyway, here he is. You think about how the Ravens play football. Why do these kind of guys fall to them all the time? Great players.
They're going to say the same thing. They go and sit there and go, who's the best player left in the SEC? And they go take him. Yeah. It's incredible. And I thought Benjamin Morrison might be the guy should his workout have been, because they've had such great luck with Hamilton from Notre Dame. But give that front office all the credit in the world, because this guy's a flat football
Well, you
player.
think about this is now three out of the last 4 first rounds for the Baltimore Ravens. They have addressed the secondary. Kyle Hamilton in 2022, Pro Bowler. They go with Nate Wiggins last year in the first round, and he started most of the year. And there's a lot of positive that they took from his first year. And now they go Malachi Starks to the end of the first round here.
You know, he's a terrific value here. I will give our
All right, they need offensive line, defensive line, and wide receiver.
Malachi Starks to Baltimore.
We're talking about the Detroit Lions.
And Baltimore
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, Baltimore, despite what they do with Kyle Hamilton, they put Marlon Humphrey in at the nickel a lot. They could put now Marlon Humphrey back on the outside.
For those that are going to watch the NFL draft tomorrow, remember tomorrow is day 2. They would do rounds 3 and 4. That starts. I mean, not 3 and 4, 2 and 3. That starts at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
You know, I could contend if Baltimore was picking 16th, they might have taken him.
Yeah.
This is that's good. The way they play defense and the way they value defense.
And the way he flies all over the bullpen.
Yeah.
All over the foot. Here we are with Detroit. Best record in the NFL last year.
Russia. Do we have one left for them?
Well, here we go.
Is this Mike Green?
Might should be. He's kind of small for those guys. Him or the Boston College kid.
All right, now while they are talking about who draft, let's go over some. We had some NBA games tonight. We had the Grizzlies are playing now. OKC is currently down in the third quarter. It's 77-54, but they lead this series 2-0. The Nuggets and Clippers are going. Clippers are up on the Nuggets. That series is tied 1-1. It is just the second quarter. And earlier today, the Knicks defeated the Detroit Pistons 118-116. That's a nail biter right there.
Feels like, the conversation about pass rush has been had for Detroit now for 9 months.
Yeah. Well, it sounds good because
All right, Detroit's pick is in, and Washington is on the clock. Let's wait to see what Detroit did.
Doing so, but is he going to be 100%? Is he going to be ready to roll? And edge rusher is really where
I've got to stop banging this
really just
table.
went downhill for them. They couldn't provide any pressure. Offensively, they still should be able to score a ton of points. They got a ton of weapons all across the board, and you would think defense would be the priority in edge rusher. I like Donovan. We talked to Bill O'Brien, their head coach there at Boston College. That guy, he said he physically ended 3 games. That's what you need your edge rusher to do.
Well, the only other thing I would ask is just because, Pat, when you were talking about value, you were just having that conversation with Malachi Starks.
Detroit should get booed too. They're in Green Bay, so Detroit is gonna get booed too. Their vote, their pick.
Really, for the better part of this whole draft process has been Will Johnson. We are at the end of the first round in the final 5 picks, and the Michigan All-American corner is still on the board.
Yeah. Well, I go back to my mentor, one of them anyway, in Gil Brandt. Gil would not take a corner that didn't run a 40. So.
And the short shuttle
kind of led me to think it might be a 4.6 thing, but here's my first round guys that I left, and Justin, the Luther Burden I thought had a chance for the first round. There's one. Josh Simmons I thought to Kansas City at the bottom. 2. Amanawore, I thought that he'd be gone by now. 3. Jihad Campbell. 4. Will Johnson. 5. And maybe Trey Amos. 6. Yeah. That's it. I think unless I'm completely off base and someone's going into the second round, I think those are
Connerly and Ursery, your second rounders in your mind, the tackles?
Yeah, only because of this Simmons thing, I think.
Well,
just think that guy.
What about Mason Taylor?
3rd round, late second round.
Okay. Well, Detroit, look at Hooker. They drafted him with the ACL off injury and said, hey, we know we're going to sit him. They'll play the long game. And Brad Holmes, their general manager, has said that. We have no problem drafting players with injuries because we'll play the long game with them.
Yep.
Well, that's a good thing. Some people, I don't know if I could.
There's a lot of high five going on.
Especially if you needed somebody now. You can't.
I would like to see the war room where they're all miserable after the pick is it worked out.
Defensive tackle is what Detroit went.
Let me tell you, they only have the cameras in about 5 of them. The other rest of them are all miserable.
Here's Detroit. Let's see.
With the 28th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State.
So it is along the defensive line. It is not one of the guys we just talked about. 6'3", 329-pound senior Tyleik Williams. His better production was in 2023 at 10 tackles for a loss. He did get hurt, to your point, Jim. We were just talking about, he got hurt in Ohio State's Pro Day in March when he was running the 40-yard dash.
Yeah, and
oh, dang.
When we talked to Brad Holmes, he said injury is not going to keep us away. They looking what the player can be for them down the road, and they'll play the long game, let the guy heal, do what they do.
All right, last 4 picks. We got Washington on the clock now. Next on deck is Buffalo, KC, then Philly.
He had a back injury. Finally, he started to pay dividends last year for the Lions. So, Brad Holmes, this is not out of character for him.
The Buckeyes making a late run, right? Michigan has...
Earlier when they was talking about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, that's one thing that Vets Plus Sports, right now we do a lot of stuff for veterans, but I do want to spread out. I don't want to just be, put all the eggs in one basket. We take care of the veterans. We show the Veterans Crisis Line. We do have a lot of veterans that end up taking their hurting themselves when they shouldn't. Let me go ahead and put that number up. So I'm going ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and put that number out again. 988. If you feel like harming yourself, call that number 988. It's the quick number. Yes, it's for veterans, but even if you're not a veteran, call that number and they will get you in touch with the people that you need to be in touch with. That Veteran Crisis Line is 1-800-273-8255. I thought about this when I was talking about when they was talking about the guy who announced for, I forgot what team it was, but it was for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That was one of his wish to announce they trade. I would like to be able to do stuff like that, but to do stuff like that we would need help from you, your assistance from you. If you look, you see in the corner, left-hand corner, that QR code. That is for our Buy Us a Coffee. You can click on there, donate to help us be able to pick up these other programs. And I mean, you're already helping out enough with giving us your attention. You're actually watching with us, watching the show. We've had a pretty good showing today, and we've pretty much been here we've been here over 3 hours, and people have been with us this 3-hour period. I thank you for that. Like I said, we got Washington the Commanders is on the clock, and on deck we have the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Philadelphia Eagles. So it doesn't look like the Chiefs will be trading up this year to get anybody. We don't see, out of these four, I don't see Dallas coming in to swoop in a trade with these four. Because I know if I was the Commanders, I wouldn't trade with Dallas. Neither should the Eagles. But those Commanders need offensive line, wide receiver, and cornerback. Up, the pick is in, and Buffalo is on the clock. Let us see what Washington has done. So far we had 3 trades this first round. 3 trades. I think it'll end at that. Like I said, these last 4, I don't see anybody trading in to get these last 4.
Spector played well when he had to play. When Dotson got hurt, Spector went in and played well.
Jim goes, uh-oh, Spector's coming in. What's going to happen? Boom.
The other guy that's out there is Nick Imanwari, right?
Yes.
They love versatile safeties in Buffalo, too.
His traits are off the charts, his numbers. 4-3. But that leaves no room for someone trading back in for a quarterback.
Yeah. There's only who would you trade in for, Milroe or Shador? Poor Shador's,
To me, it'd be Milroe I'd trade in for.
Now the question that we'll answer tomorrow in speculation, but we can talk about it, is how far will he fall in the second round?
If I were Cleveland, I'd take Milroe as early as they're picking.
Just looking, if they're going to do it, they should take him now.
And by the way, just looking ahead, we still have 4 picks left here in the first round. As scheduled, Washington has made its selection. Buffalo is now on the clock, followed by the Chiefs and the Eagles, the 2 teams from Super Bowl. The start tomorrow. Cleveland at 33. They also will pick at 36. Remember, the Jaguars traded up from 5 to 2.
Great night.
So Cleveland will pick at 33 and 36. The Texans, who traded with the Giants, they're second tomorrow. They're at 30. They got C.J. Stroud. The Titans already picked Cam Ward. And then it is the Raiders. Geno Smith, yes. Shador Sanders has been linked to the Raiders a lot over the course of this process. So we'll see. But then you got New England, you got Chicago, and then you have New Orleans, who did not take a quarterback earlier tonight. They took a tackle in Kelvin Banks. So that's the early part of the second round tomorrow.
As a general manager, if you're sitting there worried about Shador from a standpoint of coachability, is the humility of not going in the first round enough for you now to say, hey, have you got the message?
Well, he'll live with the old chip on his shoulder, whatever that really means, because this happened to him.
Okay, talking about going back to basketball playoffs. John Morant just took a fall on the court, and he's ruled out for the rest of the night. So
Washington Commanders select Josh Conerly Jr., tackle, Oregon.
So, Packer, when you were just
okay, they went tackle. They went offensive line, like we said. Oh, but back to the NBA. John Morant is out, so the Thunder might just drop this game also. They're already down 2. If they go down 3, then I'll be looking for the sweep. Broom watch. We're on broom watch in Memphis right now. Broom watch. All right, Buffalo is on the clock. On deck would be Kansas City and Philadelphia.
Doesn't mean they're all going to stay there. I think the Minnesota kid's already being talked about.
What I loved when we interviewed Josh Conerly, he gave up 2 sacks his whole college career. And Pat asked me, he goes, well, can you remember those 2 sacks? So in 2023, out of 540 passing stops, he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, it happened against Colorado. It was on a nickel blitz. I was late popping out to get the nickel blitz. And then last year in 2024, he gave up one sack in 521 plays. It was a wide receiver screen, he just said, where I flat out whiffed.
Yeah.
And admitted to his mistake. His recall, and I believe we talked to his coach Lanning down at the Senior Bowl, raved about him. He said this kid is sharp as a whip, and just how he plays, how he prepares.
Well, he was voted the top offensive lineman of the national team at the Senior Bowl, so you guys saw him in person.
Yeah.
First team,
Very
all
athletic.
Big Ten.
Yeah, very athletic player.
So I didn't get a chance to follow up my conversation today with Paul Alexander. So I'm talking to Paul, and I say, hey, Paul, this is the other day. I said, how many guys are you working with? He sends me the list. You ready? He's working with Membo, Banks, SRA, Conley, Emory Jones, Donovan Jackson, Greg Zabel. I could go on. There's only about 12 more.
Yeah. And half that list is already gone.
Yeah. I know, and of course, now I'm getting the other notes from Paul. I'm having a good night.
Yeah.
Well, this is just how good it is. Armand Membu went to the Jets at 7. Calvin Banks went to the Saints at 9. I believe you said he's working with Gray Zabel. He went to the Seahawks at 18. Donovan Jackson went to the Vikings at 24, and Josh Connerly now to the Commanders at 29. Bill's still on the clock, 4:40 left here. It is a Buffalo team that could not finish it off this year, could not get to the Super Bowl. They did go out and bring in Joey Bosa, right, on the defensive side. They added Michael Hoyt from the Rams as well, Larry Ogunjobi, who had played with Pittsburgh, so they addressed the front.
They let Von Miller go.
With Keon Coleman, they added Josh Palmer from the Chargers. The conversation that we've had tonight a couple of times, though, Rick Neuheisel, is what are they doing with regards to James Cook and whether or not this is a landing spot for what would be the third running back in this year's draft.
Possibility. I tend to
All right, Buffalo's pick is in,
either a wide receiver or
and KC is now on the clock.
But if they were going running back in the way they move things around and play the running back out into the space.
If Buffalo goes running back,
it would be Travion Henderson in my mind.
they ain't signing Cook.
This one, I agree with you on all those things. I like Emmanuel here. I like Campbell, the linebacker, for the reasons Pat brought up. And you can't ignore their D-line because Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi are both going to be suspended, who they signed the first 6 games of the year.
Correct.
So I think any of those are on the table, any of those positions. But I do like the safety side of it because of what the tools of Emmanuel and what he can do and how McDermott brings those guys along.
Well, the wide receiver part of this conversation is interesting, too. They got a lot last year out of Khalil Shakir.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot.
He's
they
awesome.
traded for Amari Cooper. He is now still a free agent. But you're looking at a Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, Khalil Shakir moment if this is where. But again,
And they
also
tight ends,
but
though.
they also
They
have
used
two.
Kincaid. They split him out
That's
a
right.
lot.
Kincaid they split out. They also have 2 second-round picks tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Bills do.
Well, they're another team. They pick guys you don't even know. The Villanova corner is my favorite story. They had a first-round pick corner in that draft. They take
Christian Benford.
Yeah, and then they take Benford. We're at the rookie camp, and he's already beaten out the first round guy.
Yeah. And you want to know what? And they moved on from Elam pretty quickly.
Yeah.
There's a kid out of East Carolina that Ravel that got hurt this year, but looked very physical. I was counting tackles. I always like to look at when corners see who will put their nose in there. This kid was willing to do that. Had 55 tackles the year before he got hurt. He might be on this list as well. And then I keep putting Benjamin Morrison on there because you never know who's going to say, you know what, that's a long, good-looking corner that ran pretty well in Phoenix this week. We don't know what the results were of that.
Well,
that's right. Yeah, let's go to the point.
Wasn't Max Harrison invited to this?
Pick is in.
NFL is stepping up to have an even greater impact as a wish maker for Make-A-Wish. For the
Okay,
second
another
time
Make-A-Wish.
tonight, we have the opportunity to grant a wish for a deserving young man to announce the first pick for his favorite team. Tommy. Tommy is a 16-year-old living with a neuromuscular disorder. Is a huge Buffalo Bills fan, and he's here with me to make the announcement for his beloved Bills. Go ahead, Tommy.
Let's go, Buffalo!
All right, they go DB.
With the 30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Harrison. Let's go!
All right, Maxwell Harrison, cornerback out of Kentucky.
He is here and was one of the best guys to talk to this week. His personality jumps off the charts.
I listened to that interview yesterday. I was going, who's this guy? And he is charming as he could be.
And the
Cornerback.
Kentucky, who runs a sub 4.3 40, is going to the Buffalo Bills at pick number 30.
That's a good pick, because if you remember, not last year, but the year before that, Buffalo got rid of it. They traded off their whole secondary, their whole starting secondary. They traded off, and they got all new people last year, but they still held on pretty well. They was able to make it to the playoffs, and they lost to Kansas City in the playoffs, but you know, they lost. They just came up one game short of the Super Bowl. But
He did have a medical.
Okay.
maybe let's work on that secondary.
We
Yes.
talked about it earlier, too.
All right.
I think during the
What?
When they re-signed Tre'Davious White, yeah, it looks like a one-year, $6.8 million deal, but it's not.
KC traded back. There was a trade. KC and the Eagles traded. So the Eagles is now on the clock, and KC is waiting.
Yeah, but it's nice to advertise a chance to be at 6.8.
Maxwell Harrison, the first Kentucky defensive
This
back
makes
to
no
ever
sense.
go in the first round. We
Who
have our
was it that
fourth trade of the night.
the Eagles needed
This one's interesting.
that quick that they thought maybe KC would get?
Competitors from the Super Bowl making a trade.
Are they swapping?
The Eagles wanted to go in front of Kansas City. It was like, sure, you can come take 31. We'll move back to 32. And they give the Chiefs a 5th-round pick as well. So a 5th-round pick is the cost to move up from 32 to 31. And it is the Super Bowl champs now on the clock here with
I had my eye on you the whole time. I never saw you make the phone call to get that done. How'd you do that?
By the way, I'm just
But
watching this tabulation. As
who would they trade for? Why would you do that? You go up one spot, and you're giving up a 5th round to go up one spot. Who are you scared that KC was going to get that you needed?
10 from the Big Ten. The ACC with 2.
I got to talk to James about that tomorrow.
The other with 2. The other being Boise State, Ashton Genty, and Gray Zabel from North Dakota State.
How many guys? Well, I don't expect you to know.
Let's see. And the Eagles needed offensive line, defensive line, and cornerback.
I'll do the math here quickly, but
Oh, that's right. They cut Slay
power these two conferences are wielding in terms of attracting people to those particular
because they still got Cooper DeJean on the other side. That was the rookie they drafted last year. And Slay on the other end, they don't have him no more. Now the pick is in.
Jackson Dart transfers.
And KC is up there on deck.
I have 8. I could be off by 1, but I believe 8 of the 30 picks are not as high as I would have thought.
Yeah, me either.
I would have thought it would have been higher. Maybe I'm off by 1, but I have 8. What I calculated here were transfers.
So we had 4
The
trades.
Eagles, the Super Bowl champs, but they were plucked. A lot of the defense has been plucked from them since they won the Super Bowl.
Well, they just traded away Gardner Johnson. To me, it'd be safety. Why wouldn't you want
Manowar?
Yeah, from South Carolina.
Well, and you think about what they did 2 years ago.
That's exactly what they're going to
But
do.
you know, that makes no sense. They did it for a 5th.
A 5th.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're saying Kansas City was going to take offensive line. You didn't think they would have taken safety? Is that what you were just thinking if you're thinking Manowar?
I mean, Kansas City's thinking we know what they want,
and
we want to draft
someone else.
Unless Billy knew somebody behind him was trading up for a safety. And Howie said, hey, we better trade up to secure the spot.
Yeah, lock the spot up. Got you. Good idea.
Well, if you think about the Eagles here and what they lost, yes, to your point, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but also Josh Sweat is now in Arizona. Milton Williams is now in New England. So it's not just this back. I mean, Brandon Graham is now retired.
Yeah.
Right. So you think in that regard too, Maxwell Hairston just taken off the board.
Yeah.
Is there a corner that they?
I see no repeat coming with from Philly. All the defense they lost, I see no repeat.
Everywhere he's coached, the safeties are a huge part of his team. Think about when he was in San Francisco, Dante Whitner became a Pro Bowler. When Vic Fangio showed up in Chicago, he drafted Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson was a really good player who earned a good contract, and then as soon as Vic Fangio left, he became non-existent. You know, so anywhere Vic has been, safeties have been a big part of his defense. And Rick brought up his tools earlier. That man Worry, his numbers are like off the charts. Off the charts what he can do. So to me, it's going to be safety, but you never know with Howie Roseman. You know, he's a wheeler and dealer. He knows what he wants. He's built quite a roster there in Philly.
The Eagles have made their selection, and the Chiefs are on the clock with the final pick of the first round. And with that, we'll step aside one last time before the first round comes to an end here on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Oh, they're going to go away for a commercial.
The NFL Draft is officially open. Hear every pick of the NFL Draft on Sirius XM. NFL Radio is live in Green Bay as Rick Neuheisel, Jim Miller, and Pat Kerwin provide instant analysis.
There's 32 draft boards, and none of them duplicate any other club.
As well as exclusive interviews with coaches, executives, and players.
First pick in the NFL Draft, very honored.
NFL Draft coverage continues tomorrow night at 7 Eastern on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
We followed the stories from their first college football game.
Cam Warren's into the end zone.
To the biggest night of their lives.
First pick.
The NFL Draft is here, and College Sports Radio will be live from Green Bay. Join Chris Budden alongside former NFL draft picks E.J. Manuel and Jacob Hester as they react to the draft from a college football perspective. Tune in Thursday night at 7 Eastern on College Sports Radio, Sirius XM Channel 84, and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Live from Green Bay, this is the 2025 NFL Draft. Here's Pat Kerwin, Rick Neuheisel, Jim Miller, and Jason Horowitz.
Final two picks. The Eagles have made their selection. We wait for Roger Goodell, and that is the Chiefs still on the clock with 5 minutes to finish off this first round. A night that began with Cam Ward going to the Tennessee Titans, one of two quarterbacks taken on the night. The Giants selected Jackson Dart at number 25. And unless the Eagles or the Chiefs are taking Shedeur Sanders, we will be talking about him tomorrow when we get going at 7 Eastern with the
Yeah, before I get off this, we can also go over hockey is in their playoffs, and we had tonight earlier today the Panthers have defeated the Lightning 2-0. Florida now leads that series 2-0. The Winnipeg Winnipeg Blues is who it is. Defeated the Jets 3-0. They are up in that. Currently they're in that. They're leading that series.
Round 2 and 3. I got about one.
That's the end of the second. And the Golden Knights versus the Wild. The Wild is up 4-1. It is the third period with 10 minutes left. I'm going to say the Wild is going to take that, but it's 1-1. But let's see what the pick is.
The Philadelphia Eagles select Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama.
So, you start looking.
Linebacker. They went linebacker from Alabama. They did not need to trade to get him. You go up one spot and you gave up a fifth. You did not need to.
You look at what they've done recently in the Eagles with their first two picks last year, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They went from the 31st pass defense in 2023 to the number 1 pass defense last year. They have a couple of safeties who are young that they like, particularly Sidney Brown, who's a second-year guy last year. But if you look at their linebackers, they hit it out of the park with Zach Bond, and they re-signed Zach Bond.
All right, KC's on the clock. Last pick of the night.
There's nothing else really there at linebacker beyond that.
No, and the big guy can get in there. He doesn't have to.
I seriously doubt KC was going for him.
So, by the way, he can play Sam, Mike, or Will.
Yeah,
Kansas City, their needs is offensive line, defensive line, and wide receiver. So they might go offensive lineman since Joe Tooney. Where did he get traded to? Where did they trade him? I think they traded him to Chicago.
Reading offensive plays and shedding blocks. He couldn't anticipate them, as we said. And maybe, and Vic Fangio's good at that too. Now he'll teach him that.
They need to replace him. They were probably going offensive line. They need offensive line, defensive line, and they're looking for. Well, it says they need a wide receiver. I seriously doubt they need wide receiver.
2022, when he was an All-American this past year. Kalen DeBoer, the head coach of Alabama this year, was with Rick, you and I on the set before the draft got started, and he joined us here tonight. And
So the Eagles get a linebacker from Alabama, Jihad Campbell, which I seriously I think they didn't need to trade up to get him.
And when he gets there, he doesn't miss tackles. He said he brings everyone down, and you look at, he led Alabama. He had 117 tackles this year with 5 sacks as well.
Well, he and Booker are both Jersey
Now it's
boys.
true, probably KC was looking to move that trade anyway, and maybe another team was going to try to come up and get him. That's the only logic I can see in that trade. They was worried about somebody like maybe Dallas may have traded up with KC. KC is known for trading away those picks.
6 foot, 6'1", 215, 220, not 215, but 220, 220. He's 6'3", 240.
Yep. Yeah, he comes in at, like you said, he's sideline to sideline. This guy's a really good player now. I mean, as Pat mentioned, he can play all three. And, you know, I'm with you on the Kobe Dean. I mean, Vic has a vision of what he saw in Zach Bond, and he obviously has a plan for this guy because he can rush off the edge as well.
You got
so,
Nolan
and they just
Smith,
and what's his name just retired? Brandon Graham. He's a lighter edge rusher too. He's a lighter edge rusher. I think Brandon Graham, when he came out of Michigan, he was about the same size. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't as big as what he is now as he's retiring a decade later.
Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, but they're going to have to replace Josh Sweat. Maybe they do that here in this draft, or maybe they see Jihad Campbell as someone who can do that as well. Chiefs pick is in, so 4 trades will be the totality of the first round. Rick Neuheisel, you hit it right on the head.
All right, Chiefs pick is in. Let's see what they got.
At the moment, at 15 from the SEC, 10 from the Big Ten. Pat Kerwin wins that with Jim Miller.
25 of 31 picks from the 2 major conferences.
Incredible.
And we get to the final pick. And I go back to this last part. Pat, what was so important that Philadelphia was worried that is it?
Well,
you've been in a draft room. You were in a front office for a long time.
You just look on the next page.
Yes, that's the question I'm asking. I got to hear this too.
And that's worth a 5th rounder too.
Because Kansas City would have never traded with them. They would have taken them. So they were willing to move down a spot and pick up something because they weren't taking a line. But I think someone on page 2 might have been coming for him. Now, they might have guessed wrong, but if you want Jihad Campbell, you're looking and going, okay, who's going to come and get him? We can look right at this crowd over here and figure out which team is rolling back in. They wouldn't have to go very far. Maybe it was Houston, for all I know. But somebody, I got to look through my list of needs to figure out who it was.
I bet you Vrabel loved Campbell.
Yeah.
New England. Yeah.
But it's not very expensive.
Yeah. 5th round pick. So here's Kansas City. Last year played in a ton of close games. Won almost all of them.
They have to protect their quarterback.
I'm with Pat. You look at the 2 Super Bowls.
Yes, they have to protect their cornerback. Line.
You know, Simmons needs a little time.
Especially since you traded off one guy. Your other guard, no, he wasn't a guard. He was a tackle. He got called so many times because he was lining up in the backfield. And he was just giving away the play. It's just like you knew it was a pass because he's halfway down the...
The Kansas City Chiefs Simmons,
offensive tackle.
Ohio State.
Nice. So there you go. Ohio State's All-American left tackle who got hurt, and then Donovan Jackson slid over. But Pat, had he not gotten hurt, Josh Simmons is a guy that people were talking about way higher in the first round. He goes at 32 to the Kansas City Chiefs, who were in desperate need.
But this pretty much was the theme. Offensive lineman. We only had 2 quarterbacks go. Offensive lineman was the first round. All right, people. I thank you for being there with us. But like we always do, let's go ahead. I know I did it 3 other times, but let's go ahead and do that quick number, because like we in every show, if you're having thoughts of hurting yourself, veterans, you feel like hurting yourself, call that quick number, 988. Hit the 1, and it will get you in contact with somebody that can help you. Or call the crisis line, which is 1-800-273-8255. They will get you the help you need, even if you are not a veteran. Call that number. I would rather you call that number, and they can get you in touch with someone who can help you. There's no need to harm yourself. Everybody has problems. I guess it was a Bible verse. I forgot where I seen this the other day. Everything in this life is temporary. So when things are going good, just remember it's temporary. And you know, embrace it, take it in, and enjoy it, because it's temporary. And that's the same thing when it comes to bad things. It's temporary. Therefore, it shall pass. So there's no need to harm yourself. But if you feel like you've gotten low enough to where you want to harm yourself, dial that quick number, 988. Hit the number 1. You'll get somebody to talk to you. Or veterans, just go into your nearest VA. I work at the VA hospital. James works at the VA hospital. There's people there that will take care of you. They can help you. If you are a homeless veteran, go to your nearest VA. They will take care of you. And once again, that Veterans Crisis Line is 1-800-273-8255. I'd like to thank y'all for coming out and giving us your undivided attention, especially for we was on there 3 hours and 45 minutes, almost a 4-hour day. But I'd like to thank y'all, because this special so much better than last year's special. It went off so much better than last year's special. And so I would like to thank y'all for being with me this 4-hour period. And like I say, enjoy your weekend. You got the weekend coming up. There will be no Saturday show. Like I said, my twins have prom, so I wasn't going to try to squeeze them in and do this too. I didn't want to. There's no way it was going to work. So no, we had the special show today. This went almost 4 hours. So there was no radio show during the beginning of the week, and we're not doing one Saturday. So I'd like to thank you for coming out, and y'all enjoy your weekend that's coming up. Be safe. All right.